Finally, we're at the end, or rather, the beginning of the end.
The end of the beginning, or the beginning.
You could also say that. It is the beginning of the end of the first phase.
So it's the beginning of the end of the beginning?
Something like that, yeah.
And we finally have a title with just a number.
It's been, literally, this came out in, I should have looked this up before we start, I think 2018. Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 2005.
Fuck me.
And I'm pretty confident it's 2018 because it's been 13 years between the two of them, and 13 is a very recurring number in Kingdom Hearts. So,
but does the creator of this series has something like hyper ADHD, like getting distracted with side projects, like entire games? Well, we'll get a little bit into his other works and how they relate to Kingdom Hearts in the next part / the DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3. I'll tell you right now, before we get started, after we finish Kingdom Hearts 3, which is going to be this part and the next part, we're not immediately going to go into the DLC, because while Kingdom Hearts 3 is the end of Phase 1 of Kingdom Hearts, the DLC for this game is comfortably Phase 2. And there is still another part of Phase 1?
There is something that transitions from Phase 1 into Phase 2, and that is the mobile game.
Ah, right.
So we need to do that first for the DLC to fully make sense, because there's like concepts and characters that are used in the DLC for this, which also come up with Kingdom Hearts 3, but they don't have like a spotlight put on them. In the DLC, they do, which are introduced in that mobile game, so we do need to cover that first. So we're going to do Kingdom Hearts 3 Part 1, Part 2, then the mobile game, probably also in 2 parts, because that's a long-ass game. It came out over a period of like 9 years in small updates. And then we'll get to the DLC of this game. And at the end of that, we can talk a little bit about like side projects that Nomura has wanted to do, has been forced to do, has been not allowed to do, and everything in between. So to a certain extent, there is a bit of mismanagement going on here, because there were a lot of projects that this guy was working on at the same time. And then Kingdom Hearts 3 specifically, halfway through development, also switched engines, which pushed it back even further.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, no, they were working with their own in-house engine, and I don't know, of course, how much they had finished in terms of like code stuff, assets and stuff that they can just port over to the new engine, no problem. Everything code related, they have to rewrite, obviously. But they switched to Unreal at some point, and I imagine that took them like another year and a half at least to restart.
I mean, you've got some experience with porting stuff from one engine to the other.
Yeah, no, exactly. But just imagine the thing that I made was like a tech demo of like a tutorial, and porting that over to Unreal took me like 3 months. Now imagine they're like well into production of a AAA game.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
So, we start the game off with a shot of a camera moving over a big sea with a city in the background.
Looking goddamn pretty.
Yeah, this is pre-rendered.
Yeah, and I got that, but
it is pre-rendered in engine, but it is pre-rendered.
Well, it's Unreal, so...
Yeah, exactly. It's just... This game in general, I've got a couple of bullet points throughout this PowerPoint where I just pause for a moment and just have a screenshot there that looks pretty, because this game, give or take a few moments, is fucking gorgeous.
That's Unreal Engine for it.
I can see why they switched.
Yeah.
On top of this white city in the background, we see a big-ass tower. Because this is Kingdom Hearts, we need castles.
With a weird-ass architecture.
Yeah, there's... Remember the Land of Departure and Birth by Sleep, which was just kind of floating about, being held up by chains, which doesn't make any physical sense because the chains were under it. This kind of gives me vibes that feel like that. This doesn't make a lot of physical sense.
And it's physically feasible, maybe.
I would like to not get distracted too much, but I'm going to get distracted here for a moment. You can see my cursor, right? I don't know if the recording can see my cursor, but these things are like 4-story buildings.
Oh yeah, I would love to see the foundations of this, but I mean, we've got the Burj Khalifa with which is like 800 meters tall or something. No, they should be doable.
There's literally no way. Like these these overhangs over here are as big as 4-story houses, even bigger than that.
Yeah, but still, I mean, not in brick and mortar. Don't get me wrong. There is a fuck ton of steel in here, but it's feasible.
I have my doubts, but sure, maybe.
Anyway,
I think it's being held up more so by magic than by steel. But anyway, inside this weird ass, very unstable, I wouldn't be in their tower. There's 2 boys playing a game of not chess. And why do I say not
fancy glass chess?
We'll get a close up of the board in a moment. It's chess, but the squares are diagonal and some of them are raised up.
Yeah, it's
fantasy.
Yeah, it's Fantasyland chess with, we have to see them play some strategy game, but it can be just chess, so make it chess, but weird.
Except that it would be so much better if this was just chess, because then we would understand what the fuck was going on the board.
Yeah, but that means the developer has to, think about it.
They had 13 fucking years. They can think about this kind of shit, okay?
Yeah, all right, fair point.
Anyway, these 2 boys are a young Xehanort and Ericus. This is a scene that takes place way, way back in the past. And they're talking about the ancient Keyblade War. We know something about that now.
Uh-huh.
Xehanort wonders why the war was started and what the ancient masters plan to do with Kingdom Hearts once the war had been fought. Xehanort asks Ericus, does he know anything about the Lost Masters, the ones who started the war? And Ericus is like, I don't know. No.
No.
Xehanort calls him out though, because he's very bad at lying, telling Ericus to drop the facade and just tell me what you know. Ericus though keeps up pretending he doesn't have a clue, and Xehanort looks up to the no-name Keyblade looking down over the room.
Just a short interception, but I fucking hate when some sort of story character, whatever, is like, I don't know nothing about that. Just tell someone, I know shit. I'm not gonna tell you. That's it. Why is that so goddamn hard?
That is, that, in my opinion, that's very situational. Because sometimes admitting that you know something is in and of itself saying something, and keeping people in the dark, even if it's very clear that you know something, keeps a little bit of doubt there.
Yeah, maybe.
So, and I feel like that's kind of what they're going for here, but I'll be honest with you, I have semi-reasonable reasons to assume that, like, Ericus knows much more here. Of course, Xehanort also does. The reason that Ericus would know more about the Lost Masters is at this point not actually confirmed to us, the player. So, whatever conclusions I'm jumping to right now to justify that are shaky at best. They're likely. I'm not going to tell you what yet because it's related to a character that you don't know yet. But there might be something to it, is all I'm going to put it at right now, right here.
All right.
Anyway, Xehanort looks up to the Keyblade with what we now know is the Master of Masters eye in it.
Mm-hmm.
To be clear, this is Xehanort's Keyblade. Xehanort does eventually get this Keyblade. At this point, it's just hanging out here in Keyblade Jedi School.
Still weird, just knowing that the eye in that Keyblade is just constantly watching, and just having that on the wall in a room is just a bit weird.
Well, that's the question. Do they know? Because
no, probably not, but just us knowing that is...
Oh yeah, for us it's weird. And it's kind of implied that... I've got something about this in my notes, actually. Because Xehanort looks at the Keyblade, saying, the future's already been written. Ericus doesn't really believe that is true, so these kids know about the Book of Prophecies, and by the fact that Xehanort is looking up at No Name while he's saying it, it implies that he might know that it's related.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure on that one. Ericus, though, doesn't believe that fate is predeterminate. He thinks that we have free will, we can change the future however we want. Even though, again, there literally is a Book of Prophecies, so...
well, just make sure you don't do it in the presence of the creepy eye.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that. Or maybe they do. Again, I don't fucking know. But they discuss that the end of the Book of Prophecies, of course, is after the battle, darkness prevailed and light expires. And Eric is like, that doesn't sound like a good story, though. I don't like that. So maybe I will be the one to change the future and light will prevail after all. Because, he says, unlike darkness, there is more to light than meets the eye. And then I have a screenshot of the chessboard, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's just chess with extra steps.
Yeah. I do want to point out, I don't have a shot of the entire chessboard here, because I couldn't get a good shot of it. The chess pieces in here, and this becomes important at the very end of the game, in like everything we're going to do in the next part. All of these chess pieces have these different like tops on them, and you will note that they are very much not the same for the dark and the light pieces. They all represent specifically the characters in the game that we're about to start playing. So the crown here on the right very obviously is Sora, and the little like, you can't see it well from this angle, but the king on Xehanort's side is like a goat motif, which links back to like, I don't know, the goatee and the whole keyblade. Xehanort entirely has something satanic about him, so this one is representing Xehanort, and we've also got like this one down here, which is Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and this one up here is Riku. And if you actually analyze like what they do in this cutscene and other cutscenes later down the line, it actually matches up more or less with the story of the game.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's very thinly veiled metaphors, but it still, like, chess works for this kind of stuff. So again, if this was actually chess, that would be so much more meaningful.
Yeah, and you can still accent the pieces with the top icons.
Yeah, there's so many, like, you can make chess sets. There's so many, like, novelty chess sets, right? They could have just done that. Yeah. The issue is then you can't have 13 and 7 in chess. So I guess that's the reason why. Anyway, let's actually start talking about this game and not the chess game. Because back in the present, Yensid now has 2 more polygons on his model.
And we're not pre-rendered anymore.
And it's very, well, all this was also not pre-rendered anymore. It just has like a shit ton of lighting thrown on it. And this one is a little darker. And there you can see things fall apart a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, Yensid just looks weird in general in this game.
Yeah, he just always does.
He always does, but Yensid was not meant for HD, is really my takeaway from this game.
Yeah, his character model was not meant to go anywhere beyond like 240p.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know, like, you could have given him some more detail in like the beard or something like that. That would have helped a little bit.
Yeah,
but you can't like have actual like hair simulation on that beard, because that would be weird as hell in this style. So I honestly don't know how they could improve Yensid. He just looks a little weird.
Well, they could have made his beard a bit more than like.
There could have been more detail in there for sure.
A yes. Plastic novelty beard.
Yeah, no, they definitely there could have been at least like a texture applied, instead of just a color. I do agree with that. But Yensid is catching Sora up to speed. We got to defeat Xehanort, and in order to defeat Xehanort, we're going to need a couple of more allies, because he's one powerful dude. Sora, you fucked up in the last game, because you didn't learn the power of Awakening, so go do some Disney Worlds and figure yourself out. Moving on to inside of the gummy ship. We actually get to see inside of that polygonal mess of a spaceship in this game.
Ooh, fun.
It still looks as polygonal, but now it has textures applied to it instead of just solid colors. So, matter of fact, the gummy ship has gotten a more visual improvement than Yensid, which is just sad.
Yeah. And HD zippers. Woohoo.
HD zipper. Oh, there's HD zippers all over the place. There's going to be so much HD zippers. You have no idea.
Oh my god.
Inside there though, Sora, Donald, and Goofy are like, oh yeah, so in Kingdom Hearts 1, all the worlds were falling apart, so we could travel freely between all of the worlds. In Kingdom Hearts 2, we created pathways to travel through, but those have been closed off for some reason. So we're pretty much stuck where we are, and we don't have any ways to get to the world that we want to go to. So how are we supposed to get to our first destination? Goofy says that to remember that Yensid always says, may your heart be your guiding key, because that's definitely something Yensid always says, and not a retcon that we just needed to may the force be with you and all.
I mean, follow your heart is the most fucking cliche piece of bullshit you ever.
I'm just annoyed by the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 drops this in as if it's been part of the series the entire time, because it definitely wasn't. And it's doubly as annoying because, yeah, it is so obvious as like a Keyblade wielder motto, follow your heart, right?
Yeah.
Took them 20 years to come up with it, but I
mean...
Sora thinks, hey, that's actually a good idea. I've never heard Yensid say that, but that does sound like a good idea. So he picks up his Keyblade, points it into space, and makes up a portal, and we fly through it to go to Olympus Colosseum, showing us...
That was easy.
Our title screen, welcome to Kingdom Hearts 2.9.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Don't worry, that's just the title of the tutorial. This is still Kingdom Hearts 3.
You fucking bastards.
I mean, at this point, after all the naming bullshit, I think this is funny. Anyway.
It's good that they're self-aware, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole, like, 2.8... Remember last time I said there's a reason 2.8 is called 2.8 and not 2.9?
Uh-huh.
It's this.
Yeah, thought so.
Anyway, for the first time, Olympus is an actual world and not just a tournament mode.
Yay.
And in this world, which again, I took this screenshot specifically, I don't care about Sora, Donald, or Goofy, this looks fucking fantastic. Well, this back here doesn't, but don't look at that. We run into Hades, who just yeets us off the mountain. He just sees, hey, these three guys are back here, I'm doing my plan to get revenge on Herc, because finally we're actually also doing the movie plot.
Oh.
And he just yeets you down the mountain to the city of Thebes. As Hades does that, though, Peter and Maleficent show up, and instantly we are happy.
Yay!
Peter and Maleficent are no longer looking for a home. Apparently, they found a place to live, or they've just accepted being homeless. I don't know. Instead, they are looking for a black box. That we might know a thing about. Hades has no idea about any black boxes, but he tells them, hey, maybe it's Pandora's box. Zeus hid that down on Earth, go look for it there. Don't bother me, I'm trying to do my Disney plot. Down in the city, Sora, Donald, and Goofy happen to just literally land on top of Hercules, which I said Yensid looked bad. Hercules looks really cursed in this game.
Yeah, he kind of looks like, what's his name?
He's very plasticky.
Yeah, that toy, Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah. I don't, like... Hercules going from like his 2D movie into a 3D model in the previous games was kind of weird as is, but a lot of other movies that were 2D initially pulled it off pretty well in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Somehow this makes it worse. I don't like Hercules, and don't worry, this is the last actually bad looking world. From here on out, everything looks fantastic. But
well, just his proportions are fucking ridiculous, and to have that in 3D just makes it even worse.
I guess that is a big part of it. Yeah,
his waist is about as big, about as big as Sora's, but his arms are like as wide as, well, his trousers. But compared to his arms and legs, it's like, don't you?
Yeah, this was not a design meant for 3D, and also not for HD. They could have given him, again, just like with Yensid, just given him a little bit more texture would have probably fixed things up a little bit better, but maybe that would have made it look more weird.
Yeah.
A little bit more uncanny. So yeah, we literally land on top of Herc because this game has no time to waste looking for things because it's long enough as is. And Sora asks him, hey, I was looking for you. I want to know, in Kingdom Hearts 2, I don't think we went over this in the Kingdom Hearts 2 episode. Maybe we did. I have no idea. You lost your power because that happens in the movie as well. So don't think about the order of the movie happening because that's definitely out of order. Herc loses his powers. He dives into a literal hellfire to save Mag, and that's how he gets his powers back. And Sora's like, I lost my powers in the previous game. Can you tell me how to get them back, please?
Well, do I have the tutorial for you?
And no, not really. Because Hercules is like, I don't know, I just kind of like wanted to do it, and then I did it. Power of friendship and love.
So there's this pit down to literal hell.
Just jump in there.
Just give it a jump. I mean, what could go wrong?
He just says, I found that I had something to fight for with all my heart, and that restored my strength. And so I was like, something to fight for with all my heart. Only if I had a female character in this lineup that had no personality that I cared about.
Nah.
I have nobody to fight for.
She has so little personality, I forgot she existed.
We'll get to Kyrie, don't worry. We go around helping Herc save the city because Hades' plans are unfolding and the city is literally on fire. And we run into Pete and Maleficent, who are now down here looking for Pandora's box, to see if it's the box that they're looking for. And Pete is all like, hey, Maleficent, you see that? Sora's looking kind of weak. Maybe we should just kill him before he gets strong again? That sounds like a good idea. Which makes Pete the literal smartest character in this series.
Yeah.
Maleficent's like, but we're looking for the box, and that's a whole thing, and there will be a boss fight, and we'd have to animate and program. No, we're not going to do that. So they just go back through the portal that they literally just came out of, only to have shown up for Sora in this world, and mention that they're looking for a black box. Sora...
Well, that's fucking convenient.
Yeah, no. I like this game. I like this story a lot. The writing is above average amount of, hey, that's convenient, and just shoved in there because specifically with Pete and Maleficent, they have no right to be in this story, but this is presumably building to whatever their role will be in Phase 2, which I don't know anything about yet.
Well, it could be worse. At least they get the fuck on and don't waste time on it. Just like you said, they fucking drop on top of Hercules instead of making this an even fucking longer game and having you look for him.
We're fully an hour and a half in at this point already.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I said we go around Thebes saving civilians from the literal hellfire raining down.
Yeah.
That was one bullet point. That is 40 minutes of gameplay.
Okay.
The worlds in this game are 3 hours apiece.
Well, at least you get what you pay for.
Yeah, no, it's a very long game. The cutscene compilation is 10 hours long, and every single world is just the cutscenes for them are an hour.
Damn.
So playing through this game, it's a 50 to 60 hour game, which I'm all about, but it does drag out a little bit at times. That said, though, Sora's they don't even take me seriously anymore. I'm the fucking protagonist. Be threatened by me. You're the villain.
Grr.
And Sora and Donald and Goofy try to cheer him up a little bit, just beat him, Maleficent, don't worry about it, we've got bigger fish to fry. So we go around saving some more people in the city, until we run into Zigbar, who's just here to kind of mock Sora and do nothing else, because he's like, oh, good for you, you're helping people, why would you do that? Because he asks, does coming with a light of heart, does that make a good insurance policy or something? Because yeah, you always spout off about light and friendship and power and hearts connecting, and you know what? You're right. You are right. Connections between hearts are very powerful. But putting too much of that power into one place could be a dangerous thing. Because if you put too much power into one place, it could maybe end up breaking that heart. So connections are all good, but hey, Sora, maybe don't go killing yourself, okay?
Okay.
He also, he in this cutscene, honestly, he just shows up to be a dick. Because remember how we just talked about Hercules regaining his power through just kind of wanting it?
Uh-huh.
Zigbar's yeah, your dad is literally a god. Why do you think it would apply to other people?
Fair enough.
Which is a fair point, but also just kind of a dick move to say in front of Sora.
I mean, yeah, but that does save Sora a lot of hassle.
Bane trying to jump into hell to regain his power. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're done with Thebes now. That's fine. It's time to start climbing Mount Olympus, which is the actual fun part of this world. Because the whole climb of Mount Olympus is honestly, that is the length of what usually a Kingdom Hearts 1 world would have been, and that's just one map of this world. Halfway up though, we start fighting the Titans, because I don't know how well you remember the Hercules movie. You have all these Titans, Rock Titan, Wind Titan, Lava Titan, Ice Titan. I think that's them. The first one we take down is the Rock Titan. and we crash into it with a magic train.
Okay.
I feel like I should take a little bit of a step back here to complain about gameplay again. This is a gameplay mechanic in this game, where for some reason Sora now has the power to summon magical Disney theme rides, and the train specifically is situational, so that only happens here and at one other point in the game. But like mid-combat, sometimes you can just summon a merry-go-round and that'll damage enemies around you when you spin it.
So he's a Green Lantern who only has the memory of Disney park rides.
Pretty much.
God damn it.
This is for obvious reasons never explained how this works, because this is purely a gameplay thing. As far as I'm concerned, this does not exist within the lore. Aside from the fact that it does literally like resolve 2 massive fights inside of a cutscene with this train. So, fuck if I know. After we do that though, we finally enter the realm of the gods. We are up in Olympus.
It would be so much more fun if they talk to Hercules and they're like, oh, you know, those titans you fought? Well, we also fought them. Oh, for real? How did you beat them? With a train?
You say that literally doesn't happen, but as we'll see throughout specifically this part of this game, as in the first part that I've got notes for so far, there's always been a bit of a thing about like Kingdom Hearts characters just hanging out in the background of Disney scenes while they happen and not really like changing things or interacting with anything, or the Disney characters making different choices because they have interacted with, like the whole thing we had in Birth by Sleep, right? With Ventus literally giving the poison apple back to the evil witch, and Stitch having a whole friendship plot in space before he gets to Earth, which renders the entire point of Lilo and Stitch pointless. That's always been kind of a problem with Kingdom Hearts. This game specifically has like the Disney and Kingdom Hearts characters interacting with each other a lot more. Not saying, hey, we used a magical train on a rock titan. Sadly, but there is a few moments that are pure fucking gold, where this interaction is a little bit stronger. So here we make our way up to fight the rest of the Titans in a giant boss battle against all 3 of them at once, or I think you fight the Lava and Ice Titan first, and then the final boss is the Wind Titan, something like that.
Looking pretty cool. These do translate very fucking well.
Yeah, specifically, I would argue that the Wind Titan is a little goofy in 3D. But specifically the Lava Titan looks fucking awesome in 3D.
Yeah.
The Ice Titan is actually not new. We've seen that in Kingdom Hearts 1. It was an optional boss. As was the Rock Titan, actually, in the Colosseum. They look so much better in this game than they did on 1, obviously. But yeah, some parts of this, and I would argue that just in general, like the Realm of the Gods here, you don't see it in 3D at the moment because it's just a screenshot. But this also looks really good, and even going back to like that first screenshot that I gave, like this all looks really, really good. So just when the Hades looks really good. Maleficent's a little weird, I'll admit. It's just Hercules that's weird.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if that's just a unfortunate screenshot, but the fire on top of Hades' head looks kind of weird.
It's very 2D. In motion it looks better, but I can see what you like. The thing is, it doesn't look 2D in this screenshot, which is it looks like a 3D model on top of him, which is not the way it's supposed to look. It's very supposed to look 2D. In motion, it looks way more like a 2D effect, which I like. So yeah, these guys look real cool. Meanwhile, back down on Earth though, Maleficent's just standing around while Pete is digging a hole, because they have found Pandora's box. But Maleficent looks at it one single time and is like, nah, that's not the box we're looking for, and just decides to leave. I don't know, but maybe like if you just dug up Pandora's box, maybe bury it again before leaving. Just an idea.
Or just take it with you, just in case. I don't know.
I feel like Maleficent would have use for Pandora's box.
Yeah.
It's not the box she's looking for, but that doesn't mean it's useless. Don't worry, there's gonna be some more boxes in this game that Maleficent may or may not be looking for.
What's in the box?
I think I said this before in Kingdom Hearts 2, but in Kingdom Hearts 2 her whole mission was, hey, I need a home. And in this mission, in this game, every time they show up, it's, hey, we want the box.
I mean, realistic expectations.
Maybe she just wants to live in the box.
Yeah, just like, if you're looking for a house over here, maybe you're better off looking for a box.
Maybe that's a good idea, actually. Anyway, as they are leaving, without reburying Pandora's box, we see Zigbar looking down from a rooftop nearby. starting to say, may your heart, and then it cuts to black.
Be ever in your favor?
Almost. And that was the tutorial world of Kingdom Hearts 3. So I'm trying to speed us through this Disney shit so we can actually get to like the fun stuff. Because while all this is happening, Riku and Mickey are down in the realm of darkness. Finally going to look for Aqua after 10 years.
Riku looking very emo.
Yeah, Riku's got a new design. I like his outfit, I don't like his hair.
Yeah.
And you will note, more belts, again, less zippers.
Yay.
So that's fun. Riku though says that he's been down here in the realm of darkness before, but it all seems like it was such a long time ago, even like it might have been in a different lifetime. During his first time here, he felt so scared, but now that he's grown so much, he's not that afraid of the darkness anymore. And much like Sora's whole theme, which I kind of skipped over, in Olympus was, is finding somebody or something to fight for with all your heart. Mickey now notes that it's probably not the lack of fear that makes the realm of darkness seem different, but rather the willingness you have found to fight for somebody that you care about, that is just overruling those fears, which is just very gay for Sora.
Yeah, but we knew that.
Which I appreciate. I really kind of like, I'm happy that there's not a love triangle, but I'm also kind of frustrated that the game can't make us up its fucking mind whether or not Sora wants to get with Kairi or Riku. It kind of seems like Riku is just kind of there while Sora and Kairi are a thing, which is kind of sad because Riku is one of my favorite characters.
Love the design of Mickey's hood, by the way.
Yeah, now all the clothes here are a step up, and these are the clothes that are like now also a little bit more darkness repellent. So Mickey won't go topless again, which I don't know. Maybe Riku is sad about that as well, because that's another thing that like a lot of Kingdom Hearts people, a lot of fans ship it. Is Riku and Mickey as a pairing, which just makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because number one, Mickey, you might have noticed, not a human being. Number two, Mickey is like 5 times Riku's age. Let's move on.
Yeah.
They walk around a little bit more and they end up on this beach, the same one we saw at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I think we also saw Aqua end up here at the end of Birth by Sleep, which was trapped here. It's the dark beach in the realm of darkness. It's got a name, I don't remember it. And they feel that they had a trail to follow to get Aqua, but the closer they get to that endpoint that they've been following, the fainter that trail seems to get, which to any normal person might indicate that you're going the wrong direction, but they jump to the conclusion that that means that she's falling into darkness, deeper into darkness, faster than they can reach her.
Sure.
Which happens to be correct, just doesn't make a lot of sense to jump to that conclusion. I don't know. They're attacked by some Heartless, which is explained. They are much stronger down here, because they're like, this is their homeland. They are in darkness. Everywhere around them is darkness. So Heartless, made out of darkness, are much stronger here in the realm of darkness.
Makes sense.
And as they are much stronger, and Riku and Mickey definitely were not prepared for that, Riku ends up being swallowed by a huge wave of Heartless, a demon tide. We saw that a little bit at the end of the last game. Inside, I apparently have a screenshot of them. So these are just like the basic, not special Heartless, just like the most basic variant, and even these are like a problem down here.
Ooh.
So Riku is inside of the darkness, and hears a voice calling out to him, saying, "Didn't expect to see you down here again." And next thing we know,
it's Aqua.
Riku wakes up. And I would like to note here that if you pay really close attention, before Riku gets eaten by the darkness, and after Riku gets eaten by the darkness, he gets a hair change.
Yeah.
A very subtle one. I'm not going to explain that right now, but this is relevant.
Already then.
It has something to do with the voice that he just heard. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I gathered that much.
Yeah. Mickey says, thank goodness you're okay. I wasn't sure there. I mean, you are very darkness resistant, but you were literally like inside of a wave of Heartless, so I didn't know if you were going to be okay. That said, though, Riku's Keyblade is kind of fucked. Broken clean in half.
I did not know that was a possibility.
Nobody did until this very moment.
Yikes.
Keyblades always very much seemed like magical weapons that, like, this was never even considered a possibility by anybody. You would imagine that the Keyblade graveyard would be full of broken Keyblades if this were, like, a reasonable thing to happen.
Yeah.
Don't think about it.
Alrighty.
Riku plants down his broken Keyblade into the ground at this beach, saying that I don't have a use for half a Keyblade. It's broken. I can't use it, but maybe the other me will be able to use it. Sora is back at Yensid's tower, telling him he's grown a lot, and Yensid asks, so do you have the power of waking? And Sora's like, no. And Yensid just tells him to go get good. And that's what this entire cutscene is. Except, just then, Riku and Mickey walk in to dump a little bit of exposition. They tell us that they've been tracking Aqua, and they found her trail leading down deeper into the darkness, abyss, sea, whatever. And they can't reach that deep down into darkness for some reason. So they need somebody that's close to Aqua's heart to go there and dive in. Maybe literally, because it's a sea. I don't know. Yeah. And pull her back out. And there's a bit of an issue there. That being that needs to be either her master or one of her friends. Because those are the only people that were ever like that close to Aqua in terms of like friendship and their heart connection. But for anybody who's played Birth by Sleep, might know that all of our friends and her master are either dead or very, very missing. So Erica's fucking murdered. Terra became Xehanort. And then we've got Ventus, who is locked inside Castle Oblivion, waiting for Aqua to come get him out. But now they need Ventus to get Aqua to get Ventus.
Right.
So that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Sora, though, feeling his heart, is like, I'll do it. I'll go save Aqua. I've never met this woman in my life, but I apparently feel like I have a close connection to her. And everybody's like, what the fuck are you on about?
I mean, he just wants to save everyone. He's just like, someone's in danger. I'ma go save them.
Yeah, pretty much. But even Sora's kind of surprised with how he just like sprung up and said that. Almost like an instinctual thing from like deep down in his heart coming up, wanting to go help Aqua.
Almost like there are other people inside of his heart.
You might almost think it has something to do with that, right?
Yep.
Anyway, Riku and Mickey are like, okay, so we need to get new Keyblades. Riku's Keyblade broke. Mickey's Keyblade was heavily damaged. So Yensid tells them to go see Merlin, who is apparently in charge of that kind of thing. Since Merlin is also training Lee and Kairi.
Oh, yeah.
Why does Merlin do this and not Yensid? No idea. He's also a wizard, and they're friends. And Merlin's not a Keyblade master, not a Keyblade wielder. He's got nothing to do with Keyblades, but he's overseeing their training. I don't know. Fine.
He's a wizard.
He's a wizard, and wizards are cool. So if they're going to go see Kairi and Lee anyway, they might as well take some new clothes that Yensid has prepared for them, because everybody's getting these new darkness repellent clothes now, because that's the new cool thing, and we need new designs so we can sell new toys.
Yay.
And Sora's like, new toys? New toys? I want a new toy! Can I be a new toy? And Sora can be a new toy! He gets new clothes!
Yay!
With slightly less zippers this time, but still a lot.
Oh, yep, there it is. And there was some networking issues, so I had like 5 pixels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, somewhat less zippers. Yay!
I think this, we'll probably get a screenshot of his shoes in a moment, because his shoes in the previous design, like his shoes had zippers.
Yeah.
I don't think this design has shoe zippers, luckily.
Good.
But
and Goofy has very much safety shoes.
Yeah, but I think he already had those.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well-
I mean, Donald and Goofy don't get new outfits.
No. If the darkness gets them, they're just fucked. They're not Keyblade wheelers. They don't deserve to be saved.
Yeah, fair enough. Who gives a fuck?
That all said, new clothes, very fun, right? Everybody loves to go shopping.
Yeah.
You know what's better than new clothes?
New
A
Keyblade?
fucking smartphone.
Oh, yeah?
Sora gets a phone! And he gets a call from Chip and Dale. Who are,
Also, it's Disney branded, which, I mean,
course.
Mickey branded, which would make sense because Mickey is kind of jobs over here.
I mean, there's. I was going to say there's only one capitalist in this universe, but we're literally about to get into a world where that's proven wrong. So anything you buy in this universe is either from a Moogle, which is a Final Fantasy character, probably Mickey or Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, Chip and Dale are calling us to inform us about some of the data that Ansem the Wise hid inside of Sora's heart. Because you probably forgot, I know I did by the time I played this game, at the end of Dream Drop Distance, when Riku had to go wake up Sora and like dive into his heart to do it, Ansem the Wise in data form was just kind of hanging out in Sora's heart.
Right, yeah.
They're trying to decipher the messages that Ansem the Wise left inside Sora's heart, because Sora's heart is not just a hotel, it's also a hard drive, as we established.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, this is a group call, because it's not just Chip and Dale. Ienzo is also here, and you might be thinking, who the fuck is Ienzo?
Yeah.
I can hear you thinking. This is one of the nobodies from Chain of Memories that Riku fought, and he was also like a child and birthed by sleep. He was one of the organization members, who is now suddenly important.
Okay.
Because he is a nerd, and that means that he can decipher the data in Sora's heart.
Yay.
Sora, of course, has no idea who the hell this is, because he doesn't remember anything from Chain of Memories. He's lost all of his memories of Castle Oblivion. And Ienzo even notes, oh, of course, you wouldn't remember, you've forgotten everything. But I want to go like on a slight tangent here, and then we'll move right the fuck on, because we'll have to make some amount of speed here. I don't think even like if Sora has his memories of Chain of Memories, he would remember Ienzo, because I don't think they ever interact. Zaxian, which is his nobody name, was one of Riku's antagonists, so at this point we're so deep in that even the writers of this goddamn series can't keep track of what happened anymore, and that's always a dangerous place to enter.
Yeah.
So, all that said though, don't worry, he's a good guy now. He was with the organization, but he's like, oh, turns out, Xemnas, Xehanort, actually those people suck apparently, so I'm going to be working with the good guys now. And he tells us that Sora's heart is full of other people, and we need to find a way to get those other people out.
Finally, someone tells him.
Yeah. Sora's Roxas has been hanging out here, obviously. That's kind of like, we're aware of that. Roxas is inside my heart. Which gives Sora an ID. I have no idea where I'm supposed to be going next. We just did a tutorial, and I need to go do some more Disney Worlds, because Jens Sid told me to. But I don't know where to go, so maybe if we're doing Roxas research, we should be letting Roxas's heart be our guiding key. And he opens up a portal, ending up in the actual start of the game. Yeah. Also, they're in Twilight Town. You probably jumped to that conclusion already.
I mean, in every game they have to go there at some point.
Yeah, in this game it kind of sucks because they only recreated like one of the maps from Kingdom Hearts 2. Like half the world just doesn't exist. The route that you usually would take in Kingdom Hearts 2 to go up to like the Station Plaza just exits the world. They pretty much modeled everything because like this clock tower here and these assets are visible in the background. You just can't go there.
Aww.
It really does kind of suck. I think you can go there in photo mode. Like there is a separate photo mode you can access from the menu. I think you can go through there. So why not just let us walk around? I don't know. Sora, Donald, and Goofy are walking into Twilight Town though, and they're talking about, hey, maybe when we were back at Jens Sid's tower there, we should have told him a bit more about the whole Zigbar being there, and Maleficent and Pete looking for this weird box. That seemed important. Why didn't we tell them about that? And Sora just shrugs it off as, oh man, it's just Pete. What do we care about Pete? Which is just a weird take, but sure, okay, cool. Apparently it doesn't matter. Sora's feeling weirdly nostalgic for seeing Twilight Town again though. Which is mostly meant to be like a mirror for the players, because at this point it had been over a decade since the players had been in Twilight Town. For Sora it's literally been like a month. So even Donald and Goofy are like, it's not been that long since we've been here, and all the players all around the world scream at the televisions, yes it has been.
Yes it has.
But just as Sora figures, I think, hold on. I think I feel something, I think my Roxas is doing something. Some nobodies show up. Oh, that's not nobodies. These are nobodies in the new engine. They look like they have very big dicks.
And like they're doing also that. And they look like they're doing some sort of walking thingy.
Yeah, they're very like a lot of the movement is very hip based.
Yeah.
It always has been, but now with like these new models and these new textures, which very much like draw your eye towards the crotch area,
Yeah.
it looks even weirder. But other than that, they look fantastic in this new graphic style.
And now you can actually see there's something in there.
Exactly, like 99% of people weren't aware of the fact that like the white thing that we see, that's just like the suit, the actual thing is in there. That was really hard to see in previous games. Here it's actually like quite obvious. Still doesn't answer the fact how any of this works, but we're not gonna worry about that. We're not gonna question it. We just beat some of those nobodies because we haven't fought nobody in a while as well. And then a lot of Heartless show the fuck up just around the corner. So we fight that as well. And this is the demon side. Yeah, no, literally, because they don't just show up out of nowhere. These Heartless were actually chasing Hainer, Pence, and Olette, which just run past you like, hey Sora, we're running for our lives, bye! And then Sora jumps in and defends them, and we can all have a jolly old good time together. Because these Twilight Town kids were friends with Roxas, but the data versions of them were friends with Roxas. So these are the real ones. Sora explains that he's looking for Roxas and throws out a quick recap of the Kingdom Hearts 2 tutorial world, which takes significantly less long than I did recapping it in our video. Remy the Rat is also here for cooking minigame purposes, because in this game we have a new gameplay mechanic introduced as well, because this is a much more modern RPG, so we have stat boosting items, and that's contextualized in it's just like things that Remy can cook, and you get like little mini games and throughout all of the worlds. You constantly have Donald and Goofy yapping on about maybe there's some good ingredients to find around here, and they literally never shut the fuck up. So we have Remy the Rat here, and he like controls Sora like he does in Ratatouille by pulling the hair on the head and stuff like that. This is also important to note, the first time we see a Pixar character in Kingdom Hearts.
Ew.
And there's going to be a lot more Pixar in this game because of that. Because I think this is the first game since Disney officially like fully acquired Pixar, rather than just like publishing their films or something like that. Don't quote me on that though. I'm trying to... Okay, there we go. Don't quote me on that though, because that might not be entirely correct. But I feel like there's something like that going on, because they are going all in on the Pixar shit in this game.
That would make sense.
Remy the Rat, though, very not important. Just wanted to show him. Down in the mansion's basement, though, we go through Diz's and some of the Wise, his computer. And they try to log in, but they get a error screen because the password is wrong. Nobody's been down here since the last time we've been here, and somehow the password has changed.
Oh, no.
Yes, it got changed remotely. I don't know. Luckily, though, Ienzo, that's not Ienzo. I don't have a screenshot of this. Okay. Ienzo sees that there's a login attempt notification on his PC, and he calls Sora. He's like, "Hey, Sora, are you in front of a computer right now? Because I just got a login attempt, and I haven't been using a VPN. Maybe we should be using NordVPN. Link down below." No, I don't have a NordVPN sponsorship, sadly. Ienzo, though, helps them unlock the password remotely, because this is Ansem the Wise's computer, and Ienzo is in Hollow Bastion, Radiant Garden, where they have like the main terminal, like the main computer. This is just a remote server, I guess. We very quickly found out in previous games that despite this being a video game made by video game developers, these people have no idea how computers work.
I mean, being a video game developer does not mean know about mainframe infrastructure shit.
That is a very good point. That is a very good point.
Ask any software developer to build you a PC. I will fucking guarantee you they can't.
This is, well, yeah, it's like a remote access thing, so you have both hardware and software knowledge here, so I suppose it makes sense, but still, the whole, like, don't think too much about how computers work in this universe, because they can't travel through the darkness between worlds, but apparently, like, the data they can call each other from different worlds as well. How? Is there cell towers in the middle of space? I don't know. While they're working on Unlocking the Computer, though. They're talking about the Digital to Twilight Town, where Roxas's data was being kept. Because apparently, backing up the entirety of Twilight Town in Kingdom Hearts 2 to put Roxas into a Digital Twilight Town, Ansem the Wise also made a backup of Roxas himself. Not entirely sure why, but he did. And they figure that if they can decode the data Roxas, they can maybe encrypt, or decrypt rather, the real Roxas in Sora's heart a little faster.
Sure.
I mean, if you have like a very encrypted thing, and you can get like a reference copy of what the eventual output should be like that makes a certain amount of sense.
Yeah, maybe that could get you closer to a key, I guess. Yeah.
But probably not like significantly so to the point where you would invest that much time into it, because it would just be better to work on the decryption. But even if they manage to separate Sora's heart from Roxas's, what are they going to do? Because Roxas is still going to need a body. And they can't just get a replica body, because Vexen, remember him from Chain of Memories? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only one who can make replicas. Remember Replica Riku?
Uh-huh.
His little project? This has been Vexen's whole ongoing research thing for a while. And Vexen is the only one who can make them. But he's gone missing again. He woke up with all the others in Radiant Garden in the lab. But he remained knocked out for a little bit longer than the rest. And by the time he woke up, somebody had taken him, apparently. Or he had left on his own accord. We don't know. But at some point, he vanished. So he's very likely back with the organization.
So when the world needed him most, he vanished?
When Roxas needed him most, at least. So making a replica to put a Roxas heart inside is not going to be an option either, because we don't have any replicas or any way to get a replica. While working on that, though, Sora should go do some more Disney shit, because we almost forgot that this is a Disney game.
Alright, yeah.
So he leaves the mansion, and outside he runs into Xemnas and Ansem. We're like, hey, we heard you're trying to bring Roxas back. That's not how nobodies work, dude. But sure, you go ahead and try that, but you know that Roxas is back like inside your heart. And the only way to get him out of there is to create a nobody. And the only way to create a nobody is to give yourself over to the darkness. And we still need a darkness vessel, so please do.
This whole series has a thing for people just showing up and saying like, ha, you're an idiot.
Yeah, this game specifically is really bad with that. We've had like the Sigbar just show up to be a dick, and now Ansem and Xemnas are just like here like, hey, fuck you.
That thing you're trying to do, please do it. It was part of our plan.
Well, my plan all along. Sora just tells them to go fuck off because, hey, you guys were once one person, and you're now both standing side by side here while the real person is out there. And meanwhile, everybody at home is like, yeah, because the time traveling, Sora, that doesn't apply to your situation.
From his perspective, fair point. But yeah, no. We've
been over this. The only reason that Xemnas and Ansem exist at all after we've killed them is because they are time traveling. That was what the last game was all about, god damn it. Even Sora doesn't understand time travel, okay?
It's hard.
So they go fuck off, and they do some stuff with Scrooge McDuck, and they get like a cake from Remy the Rats, and they go watch a movie, and they go find some hidden Mickeys to take pictures of, and they just have a good old time. And while they do, Ansem and Xemnas are still watching them from a rooftop, because that's another thing that happens a lot in this game. And Xigbar shows up, and is like, hey, aren't you guys being a little obvious? Like, yeah, we need Sora as a vessel, but we probably shouldn't be telling him about that, because then he's not gonna like turn himself into a vessel for us. Just cool it down a little bit. And Ansem Xemnas is like, we know, but if we don't help him along, he's not gonna develop quick enough, man. He's a weak little bullshit boy. We need him to get a little bit stronger, and if he deviates from our plan, we'll just kill him. Sigbar's like, yeah. Sigbar's like, yeah, okay, but then we're still short a vessel, and that's not good for us. To which Xemnas just ominously looks at him and says, that's why we've got more irons in the fire. So they're working on more potential vessels. Just after we've learned about Vexen going back to the organization, so I wonder what that could be like.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. After that, we leave Twilight Town, finally, we get onto some more Disney shit, but not before we see Kairi doing a thing. She's writing a letter to Sora. She doesn't plan to send it, though. She just likes to pretend to talk to him, which is very straight. Look, every time I say something about Riku, I call it gay. I feel like I should call this straight.
Yeah, fair enough.
She talks to Lee about how she was... Oh, she talks about Lee, not to Lee. Sorry. She talks about Lee and how she was scared of him at first because, you know, he was kind of a bad guy for a while there. But Lee seems to be really, really sorry about all the trouble he caused back in Kingdom Hearts 2. And she's actually been noticing every so often that he'll be staring at her. And that's not in like a creepy way, but in a, something weird is going on there way. When she asks what's wrong, he says he's not sure, but he feels like he's maybe forgetting something. Apparently, he didn't get it memorized. Just as she's finishing the letter, though, she is now joined by Axel, who is very clearly topless on this organization road. Which,
I can imagine it's quite warm, so should be fine.
Yeah, but I also imagine that being topless in like a thick leather coat doesn't feel great either.
Yeah.
As he hands Kairi her piece of ice cream, though, for a moment, he sees a blurry vision of Xion. He dropped his own ice cream, and a tear rolls down his eyes, which I don't have a screenshot of. I am horrible. Oh. Lee gets up, obviously quite shook. Kairi tries to get up with him and is like, what's wrong? You're crying. What's going on? And he says he's just going to have to be on his own for a moment to just get his thoughts in order. Saying sorry to be leaving her alone again. Kairi says, fucking stop saying sorry every 2 seconds. It's getting annoying. To which he responds, okay, I'll try to stop saying sorry, but you should call me Axel instead of Lee. Very clearly trying to project Xion onto Kairi, even though he doesn't remember Xion. He's just like, I feel like a girl in this rough shape with this rough haircut calling me Axel is really making me feel things, so please do that.
This is getting weirder by the second.
Yeah.
giving a child ice cream, then saying she needs to call you a specific name, and then saying, sorry, I need to be alone for a bit.
Yeah, Axel's a little bit sus. Yeah, maybe. In his leather coat. In Radiant Garden, though, moving swiftly on, Riku and Mickey are having a recap of what happened to Terra and Xehanort and everything like that for everybody who hasn't played Birth by Sleep. Because a lot of people, and I don't think we've really highlighted this yet this session, but a lot of people went into Kingdom Hearts 3 not having played any of the other games after 2.
Yeah, that makes sense. And not everybody is going to buy every goddamn console to play every...
Yeah, not everybody's going to have a DS and a PSP and a 3DS and whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're called Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3 and then all the other ones have subtitles gives the impression that they're like side games or spin-off games that don't matter. That's very much not the case, as we've discovered over this past year. So this game needs to do a little bit of legwork recapping things that we've gone over in extensive detail. So that's what they're doing here. And I'm not going to recap it, because if you want that, go watch our Birth by Sleep video. There's 3 of them. It's like 6 hours in total. This cutscene does it in like 2 minutes then. Disney World time. Because we haven't had a Disney World in like a bit. And we get off to an actual pretty good start for our first actual Disney World. That's not a tutorial, because we start off with Tangled, apparently. Everybody I know who's played this game plays this world second. The cutscene compilation I watched has this one first, so we're going to do this one first.
Alright.
I can speed through this really quickly, because this is literally just the plot of the movie with Sora, Donald, and Goofy in the background. Remember how I said that these characters interact a little bit more with Disney characters in this game? Not in this fucking world, they don't.
Also, this just because this was originally a 3D animated movie, this translation just works. It just has a bit less detail, but
yeah, no, her hair definitely is like, you can tell that her hair is actually like just a 3D mesh and not in the movie. It's probably like simulated hair. It's definitely not here. I say that, but simulating hair that length probably would be not possible actually.
Yeah,
because the whole point is that she has insanely long hair.
Yeah, but you can still like animate
much more detail.
Maybe not simulate, but still animate it as individual hairs.
Yeah, and that's not the case here. Like this is very much like a mass with a couple of hairs coming off. But other than that, this just straight up looks like the movie.
Yeah, I mean, they probably could just take the asset from the movie, tone it down a little bit, and there you go.
They probably did. Yeah, they very likely did. For pretty much all of these 3D animated movies, they just got Disney to give them the models. I am pretty convinced about it, because they look spot on.
Yeah, I mean, why the fuck wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Disney is collaborating with Square here, so I imagine that they would want this to look as good as possible, and just giving them the models would be the best way to do that.
Yeah.
So you've seen this movie. Rapunzel gets out. She explores the world. Mother Gothel goes out to find Rapunzel. Marluxia shows up for a minute here to be ominous.
And fabulous.
And fabulous. Also, he's got yellow eyes now because he's Norded. Everybody, all the organization members have yellow eyes because everybody's got a little bit of Nord going on in there.
Uh-huh.
And Marluxia's all like, oh, I'll help you look for Rapunzel. She's such a precious gift. I don't want anything bad to happen to Rapunzel. I'm evil, but I don't want anything bad to happen to Rapunzel. Remember that.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of Marluxia, though, on their way to the kingdom, Sora, Donald, and Goofy also run into Marluxia, who conveniently just sends... No, Marluxia doesn't send them off. I wrote this wrong. Sora, Donald, and Goofy are like, you guys go ahead. Like, Rapunzel and Flynn are just like doing their Disney plot stuff, and then Kingdom Hearts plot stuff can happen here without them interacting. And that's when Marluxia shows up. And Marluxia's, hey Sora, it's been a while, hasn't it? And Sora, once again, has no idea who the fuck this is because he's lost all of his memories of Chain of Memories.
Uh-huh.
And Marluxia doesn't really seem to care. He's like, you may have forgotten me, I have sure as hell not forgotten you. You beat my ass. And I don't know if I covered this in the original video on that. And I don't necessarily know that this is like canonical anymore. In the PlayStation 2 remaster of Chain of Memories, you actually have like one more boss fight against Marluxia, and it's very explicit that you kill Marluxia in there. And then you run out of that room where you had that boss fight and you randomly just lock the door to that room, which is really, really weird and really random. In the original GBA release of that game, I think it was implied that Marluxia was too strong to kill, so you lock him into that room. So Marluxia would have reason to remember Sora because he first got beaten half to death by a 14-year-old, and then he spent like a week starving to death in a room that he couldn't leave. Just a little side tangent. Doesn't really matter for lore reasons.
Yeah, but I would imagine you would remember someone who did that to you.
Yeah. Marluxia is not particularly happy to see Sora again, but he's like, we can put that in the past. That's fine. We're going to fight in a bit here because of the whole like Keyblade War thing, but for now, I need you to do me a favor. You just need to keep Rapunzel safe. And so we're like, keep Rapunzel? I was doing that. That's a good thing. You're a bad guy. Why are you asking me to do a good thing? And Marluxia's like, I'm not a bad guy. We don't want to fight the light. We want to complement the light. Light and darkness need to be in balance. And for that, protect Rapunzel. She's important. And here it's revealed that Rapunzel is one of the new 7 Princesses of Light. Because in Kingdom Hearts 1, we had fucking, what did we have there? Like Jasmine and Alice and Belle and whatever. Those women no longer Princesses of Light because they're not merchandisable. We've got new Princesses of Light.
Yay.
And Rapunzel is one of them. You can probably guess which the other ones are. It's not that hard to figure out.
I'm just thinking 2018, right? So let's make it 2017 for the development. So
I don't think there's been a lot of Disney princesses added since 2018, right?
Yeah. I was just thinking. So we got Elsa. We got that era of Disney is just not relevant for me.
Yeah, no. It's not explicitly being confirmed to the new 7 are aside from Rapunzel here, and then both Elsa and Anna in the Frozen world, which I'll just spoil for you right now. There's a Frozen world on it a little bit.
I mean, why wouldn't you make a world of the most fucking successful thing Disney ever did?
It's the worst fucking world in the game. We'll get to it.
Oh, I believe.
And that's like 3. It's confirmed that Kairi for some reason still is one because she's still a relevant character. We have 3 left, which presumably is Merida from Brave, Moana, and then maybe Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch. Admittedly, that last one. But I feel pretty good about Merida and Moana.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That's all future talk, though, because, again, that's not been brought up again at all. So after that, we do the rest of the movie plot. We go to the kingdom. We have a dance. Rapunzel sees the mural on the wall. We go back. Mother Gothel falls out of the window somewhere and fucking dies. But instead of just dying off screen, like she does in the movie, she turns into a giant fucking tree monster, heartless thing, and we beat her to death. Also, Peter Maleficent. Haven't seen him the entire time in this world. At the end of this world, we just get a cutscene of Pete standing there saying, "Another world where we found Doodly Squat," and then they just leave.
But someone has just fallen out of the window of their home. There's a vacant home right there.
They're not looking for a castle anymore. They're looking for a box.
God damn it.
The castle is so like 2005. They don't need castles anymore. Castles are like not important. We need boxes because we need
I've got a smartphone now. I don't need a home.
Exactly. I can just get Starbucks every day instead. Sora calls Riku and Mickey on that smartphone, asking about like the whole Roxas thing and where the fuck they're going to put the heart if Sora manages to separate it from his own. And Riku comes up with the idea of replicas. And they'll go talk to Yenzo about that, even though it's been explicitly stated that without Vexen, they're kind of fucked.
If a technology is developed enough, and there's probably someone else who can do it.
Well, that's kind of what they're getting at, because Yenzo was a research assistant to Vexen, whatever you want to call them, both before and in the organization. So the idea is that with some leftover research notes and a little bit of creative development, maybe they can make their own replicas with Yenzo's help.
Yeah.
Time for some more Pixar, except this is not Pixar. Oops. Because when we open this world, we don't get to see any Disney stuff. We get to see this weird-ass epic Final Fantasy trailer for a game called... Oh, that's... Okay. For a game called Verum Rex. And I'm going to share this link to you, and we're going to... there's a couple of cutscenes in here that I need you to watch. Alright, so that...
Looking pretty cool. ...is a trailer for a in-universe video game called Verum Rex. You might be wondering, from what we just saw, this is the Toy Story world. Why does the Toy Story world start off with a clearly very expensive bit of animation? Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Also, that without any context, it did look freaking cool.
Oh, it looks fucking awesome. And this is, I'll tell you now, this is phase 2 relevant. This is likely tying into maybe something to do with Kingdom Hearts 4.
Alrighty.
So that gets me really excited for Kingdom Hearts 4. If that feels anything like that trailer did, of course it's not going to look as good, even though it's like on the PS5 at this point, it's not going to look that good. But
that Pacific Rim type shit does look fucking epic.
Yeah, I really do hope that we get to see a little bit more of that in Kingdom Hearts 4. We only got one trailer of Kingdom Hearts 4, and I can confirm for you, Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to take place in that city specifically. From that trailer. And how and why, we'll get to. Because, so this character, specifically, I should point out right now, he is called Yozora. That's pretty much the only relevant thing that you're going to need to remember from this entire trailer for now. Is this guy, aerochromic eyes, Riku-looking hair, Yozora.
Yeah, I was just thinking that that's Riku in a different outfit, but...
No, that's a different character.
Right.
I have theories. To me, this very much looks like what if Sora and Riku push him together, and that becomes... That is my interpretation of this, but that is based on literally nothing other than the fact that he's wearing Sora's clothes and has Riku's hair. And he's got 2 different eyes. But that's just an anime thing. So, Toy Story time. Again, another one of these things that was originally 3D animated and looks fucking fantastic in this game. Sora...
This almost looks as good as the movie itself.
I'll do you one better. This game looks in a lot of ways better than the first Toy Story movie. Which is fair, because the first Toy Story movie was like 1998 or something like that.
But 2000 something?
2000? You sure? Anyway, if you put the screenshots side by side, you just go Google like a screenshot from Toy Story 1. We'll have plenty of screenshots of this world going forward. This world, like the models and everything, it looks better. It's not Toy Story 3 level, let alone Toy Story 4. But compared to Toy Story 1, this is just straight up better.
just in lighting, it's going to be better. But
yeah, that's pretty much the biggest difference is the lighting engine. Because at this point, obviously, but the fact that this is real time, and Toy Story 1 probably took like half a year to render or something, is insane. Sora and the gang have been shrunk down, and they're also toys. And
they're made of sort of Lego-like thingy.
These toys exist in the real world. They were a bonus item for the deluxe edition pre-order, and I need them.
Oh my god.
I have a pin with these designs on them. That's what I got for my pre-order. The deluxe edition, which was way too expensive for good reasons, has these 3 action figures with it.
Is it like Lego or Playmobil or what?
I think they're just blocky action figures.
Yeah, I get that, but
I don't think it's like Lego where you can pull them apart or anything like that. It's more like just your average like superhero action figure, but low poly.
Yeah.
I feel like the reason that they made them so blocky is so that it's very clear that they're toys in this.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it. Rex runs up to Sora, all hyped, because he thinks that Sora is Yo-Zora, because he literally is wearing pretty much the same clothes. Which leaves Sora confused as hell, just like the player, because that guy from the trailer does not look like Sora, but he does look like Riku, so what the fuck is going on here? Anyway, we don't really care about that, because again, that is a way in the future thing for games that are yet to be released, most likely. Buzz has a real laser. His little lighting thing on his wrist actually shoots people now.
Oh shit.
And everybody's very confused as to how that happened, because some time ago, it seemed like about half the toys just disappeared, and so did Andy and Mom and everybody that they care about, other than like Buzz and Woody is here, and Rex and Ham and some of the soldiers and the alien guys. Those are still around. Everybody else, like Slinky and presumably Jesse and whatever, all gone. Fucking Thanos snaps. No idea where they are. But around the same time that happened, a guy in a black robe showed up. So that's all we need to know. They've been tracking the guy in the black robe, even though they have no idea who it is or what he is on about. And he's been spotted going around to the Galaxy Toys toy store. Why they wouldn't just use Al's toy barn from Toy Story 2, which is a established location in this universe, which sells toys? I don't know. It's probably not very visually interesting, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
It's literally just shelves of toys. So we go to Galaxy Toys, which admittedly is a very cool, like, 3-story building that's all interconnected and there's like no loading screens anywhere. And Sora sees a giant mech toy and he's like, oh my god, that's awesome, but why doesn't that one move? You guys are moving. Why doesn't that one move? To which young Xehanort shows up and he's like, you want him to move? I can make him move for you.
Please don't.
Yeah, he does. He summons a bunch of Heartless and they pilot the mechs, and you said the whole like Pacific Rim vibe from that trailer looked really cool. That's actually a mechanic within this world. These giant mechs are all over the Galaxy Toy Store, and Sora can hop into them and absolutely obliterate the Heartless.
Nice.
But they also sometimes have Heartless in them and you need to fight them, and they fucking suck. But that leaves you to a situation where you can't really take them on your own. So what you do when you see one of them is you run off, get a mech of your own, and then you have a mech versus mech fight, and it's very fun for about 10 minutes until you figure out that it's actually tedious.
Yeah, that sounds like grinding as fuck.
You don't know the worst of it, because there's only, for most worlds in these games, there's only really 2 music tracks. That is the passive music track and the battle track.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, that's not really a problem. In this world, the passive track is just an instrumental version of You've Got a Friend in Me, but like on a 20-second loop.
Oh, God.
So I love this world. It's probably one of my favorite worlds in this game, but it's got some real issues. Young Xehanort here explains that they are still looking for their 13th vessel of darkness, and that this world serves as a good experiment. He copied the world and pulled apart the hearts that care for each other the most. So all of the missing toys and people from this world are in a copy of the world. Or rather, specifically, they right now are in the copy, which is why Boss's laser is actually shooting people, because they're in a not real world. What that implies about Sora, I don't entirely know.
Yeah.
Because he just landed in a copy of a world which is apparently fake, maybe? Don't think about that too much. That might be relevant, but not for now. Xehanort, though, wants to just rip these hearts that care about each other apart from each other, so they're away from Andy, and see how they manage. Because these things are toys, right? They're not supposed to have hearts. They're just plastic. And Xehanort's like, okay, if I pull you away from Andy, are you going to be able to maintain your heart? That kind of thing. Boss is like, I don't know.
At that point, first of all, do they even have hearts? And second of all, do they then actually become just toys?
Well, if they would like to lose their heart, maybe they would turn into a heartless. I don't know. They do very explicitly have hearts. Remember in Kingdom Hearts 1, this was also kind of what Riku was on about with Pinocchio, being like, "Hey, this is a wooden puppet. How the fuck does it have a heart?" And that's kind of what's going on here as well. Is these are just pieces of plastic, but they have hearts somehow for some reason.
Yeah, I would see why he would experiment over here.
And this is kind of going back to something I said way in the beginning during the Kingdom Hearts 1 episode, is that like in the current canonicity, it's kind of like playing around with like what is real, what is not real, and like what can have a heart, what is a heart. Because these toys can have hearts, apparently. Pinocchio back in Kingdom Hearts 1 could have a heart. There's a lot of stuff about to happen in this world, in this game, in the following games, which gets very, very meta in a lot of ways. So the running theory among a lot of people is that the whole idea is that through playing these games and through like interfacing with this story, all the millions of people around the world doing that is what is giving Sora his power.
Oh, that's wow. That's fucking meta bullshit.
That is...
I love it.
That is not explicit at the moment, but that is very much looking like the way we are heading in the future. That could be entirely wrong, though, because that would be clever, and if we've learned anything from doing this series, is that clever is not in the dictionary here. Buzz does your job, though, and says that's fucking bullshit. He doesn't believe anything about the copying of worlds and hearts and darkness and light, and he's like, dude, we're just toys. Just calm the fuck down. We're just toys. Doing Woody's job from the movie.
Yay.
We go on a bunch of side missions, rescuing toys that get kidnapped all over the place, and we find a bunch of possessed toys that we fight as like mini bosses. There's like a UFO that we fight, and like a dollhouse doll that we fight, and like a Godzilla toy or something that we fight. They all get possessed by these special Heartless. And
I love the fact that Buzz has a plastic embossed in his ass.
I've never noticed that before, but you're entirely right. Also, I specifically took this screenshot here because of what Buzz is saying, is when he's calling bullshit on all this, he's like, oh right, you're from a video game, so that's why you believe all this weird stuff, because you are from a video game, Sora, the video game character. So we fight a lot of these possessed toys, and Buzz thinks, hey, we're toys. What if any one of us gets possessed? Do the others have to like kill us? Because please don't do that. That sounds like a bad idea. Especially now that I've got a real laser. Like, if I get possessed, you guys are fucked. You're giving a little too much credit to yourself there, Buzz, but sure, I appreciate the idea. After they find everybody, though, now Rex is missing again. Fucking hell. Because he has gone up to the video game aisle to get a picture of Zora, to explain to Buzz that no, Sora is a chill dude. Because this entire time, Buzz is like, I don't know, man. Those new guys, Sordon and Goofy, seem a little weird. And Rex is like, no, he's Zora. I'm a big fan. He's great. And he's gone up to get like a copy of the game to show Buzz. So we go up to the gaming section, and there we lose track of where I am in my note. Oh yeah, young Xehanort shows up, and he, oh no, possesses Buzz, which I don't. Oh, this is Buzz getting possessed. He closes his eyes for a moment, apparently.
Goddamn foreshadowing.
Yeah, Buzz was worried about that like 5 minutes ago, and now he's the one getting possessed. Sora thinks, hey, I probably should do something about that. But Xehanort's like, yeah, maybe don't do that.
Nope.
I don't really want you interfering here. So he literally throws you into a video game console, into Virum Rex. I don't have a screenshot of it, but you do some of the mech fighting inside there as like a mini game, and then you come back out and everything is fine. But
into the Play Plus, I love it.
Yeah, no, but he like literally throws you into a video game, which the meta stuff comes down after this world. Don't worry. For a few games anyway.
For now.
So as Sora was doing that, Xehanort has taken Buzz like hostage into a corridor of darkness. So they go after him to rescue Buzz, obviously. And man, I love this screenshot. Other than the fact that I didn't crop it out properly, it seems like. But the screenshot itself, love the colors. And Xehanort says that being ripped away from Andy made such a powerful darkness grow inside of Buzz. And Sora says, no, that's not what happened at all. Heart connections are more powerful than that. And there's no, yeah, we know. Your friends are your power. Just shut up.
Finally, someone just says it.
Yeah. And then Woody steps forward, saying to Xehanort, whatever you're talking about, I don't care. Put Buzz back the way he was and get lost. I bet nobody's ever loved you before. And this is where And this is where we start the actual interactions between Disney and Kingdom Hearts characters, and we see why it doesn't happen that much. Because from the perspective of Woody, he's just like, nobody loves you, nobody like, you're a toy that nobody's wanting to play with. He doesn't have any idea what like the implication of that is for a fucking human being. But it's a golden line. I love it. So yeah, we rescue Buzz, we fight a Heartless, boss fights, it's fine. Xehanort fucks off, saying like, oh, okay, so I'll have to remember that even these toys can have strong hearts. And then he disappears, his experiments apparently being done. While Sora does all that, we do some more Kingdom Hearts stuff. Riku and Mickey are talking to Ienzo, just to remind us that Vexen is the guy to ask about the replicas, but you know, he's kind of missing. So, you want to see what Vexen is up to?
Sure.
He's in the Keyblade graveyard, because apparently the organization lives here now, instead of in their castle, which, again, means, Maleficent, there's an empty castle somewhere that you could use. Just saying. And they've traded in their, like, round room full of thrones for just a couple of rock pillars in the desert.
They're inconvenient high places in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's basically the same.
But they can't even sit anymore, they just have to stand around now.
Budget cuts and stuff, you know. It happens.
Yeah, clearly. New management, you know, old man Xehanort's back, like, we're not paying for that. Fuck that. Syx says to Vexen that humanity is such a precious gift, and yet you have decided to return to the organization. Why? To which Vexen responds, because I like doing my research, and you guys give me the opportunity to. So I'm back, and I'm great.
Oh, money?
Yeah, they have budget. That's pretty much it. More Pixar fun. We're in Monsters, Inc.
Oh, damn.
And I think every single world almost in this game has actual like unique designs for these characters, as you can clearly tell by now. Mm-hmm. I love this one. Like they just turn into furries, and I kind of like it.
Donald and Goofy are already furries, but
Sora, well, funnily enough, they turn into like actual monsters. Sora just turns into a furry.
Yeah,
but it's a good design.
Goofy looks fucked.
I once heard somebody, I don't remember where, but I once heard somebody say about this Goofy design, it feels like they just pressed a random button in Spore, and this came out, and that is so fucking on point.
Yep.
Donald, though, also kind of cool. Specifically because I think we get, well, we'll get to this in a moment, but the story of this world is a semi-sequel to the movie. So where a lot of these worlds take place during the movie, like with Tangled, it just is the movie, and Sora sometimes is in a scene. This is a proper like sequel, just like we had with Toy Story a moment ago. This was entirely removed from any of the films. It's an entirely unique story. And the story here is that Mike and Sully have like a play date with Boo, and every time Boo sees Donald Duck, she's like, Mike Wazowski, because he only has one eye. And it's really cute. That said, though, you might be wondering, hey, these don't look like Heartless. We've seen these at other places before.
I mean, how are you going to make if the monsters die and become heartless, do they become more monsters?
No, these are unversed from Birth by Sleep,
Uh,
if you'll remember.
the Wish.com heartless.
Yeah, the Wish.com Heartless, which weren't made of darkness, but of negative emotion. And we're in Monsters Incorporated, which Harvard
That makes
screams,
sense.
so
Yeah,
there's negative emotion, so unversed. That's how they try to explain that one away.
kind of makes sense.
Kind of makes sense. There's still Heartless around here as well, but this is also the only world where we find unversed, just to have them somewhere. Okay, apparently I only have like 4 notes for this entire world. We're moving through this real quick. We do a lot of bullshit because, again, the entire story here is we want to get Boo back to her home through her door because there's now monsters around here, like actual monsters, unversed and heartless, and it's dangerous around here, so we want to get there. But every time we get sidetracked and we can't go to the Hall of Doors, that's the wrong game. The Door Vault, that's what it's called. And we just spend like 2 hours trying to get back to that fucking door. Eventually, we managed to though, but not before fighting the most bullshit Disney boss fight in this game. This guy is absolutely hell on earth. Also, its design
Looks like it.
Yeah, its design feels very hellish as well. I won't get too much into complaining about gameplay mechanics because we're doing like lore videos here. But this guy had like 2 states, like a lot of boss fights do, a defensive state and a offensive state. In a defensive state, you barely do any damage. His offensive state, you do a lot more damage. The issue, though, is that his offensive state is way too offensive, and it's nearly impossible to even get to him. Meaning that, for the most part, what actually ends up happening is you run away during his offensive state, which is not how this boss fight is designed, because you just spend like half an hour hacking away at his defensive state. And I hate it. I just needed a place to complain about.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's really not.
Yeah. Also, he looks like part of the building melted together, and that's the thing.
That's kind of what's going on, yeah. He's, I think what he is supposed to be is like the screaming machine that Randall, because Randall is back, by the way, in this story. He got help from an organization member, and he's back. And I think this is supposed to be the screaming machine that he has in the movie, but with unversed darkness, magic, keyblade, hearts, stuff, and a lot of purple goop.
Because why not?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because after the entire story of the world itself is done, Vanitas shows up.
Oh yeah, he was here.
Explaining that, hey, remember when he died in Birth by Sleep, and he's back now for some reason? All the negative emotion in this world, in all of these screen canisters, was enough to reconstruct Vanitas' negative emotion, darkness, evil heart, somehow. But he's still lacking something. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to stab you with my keyblade, and I'm just going to take my Ventus and reabsorb him into myself. Informing Sora, Donald, and Goofy, for the first time, accidentally, that one of the people they've been looking for has been inside Sora this whole time. We knew this, they did. So, it's not going to matter though, because Vanitas just gets ready to strike Sora down until Sully appears behind him, scaring the ever-living shit out of him, picking him up, yeeting him through a door. I don't have a screenshot of that, okay. Yeeting him through a door, picking up that door, yeeting that through another door, picking up that door, and again, and again, and again, and that one they pull through a shredder.
That sounds like some multiversal fucking shenanigans. No, well, maybe not multiversal, but throwing portals through portals, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, this is better known by the community at large as Yeetus Vanitas. And I need to show this to you because this is my single favorite scene from the entire game. It's actually fantastic. Vanitas can just straight up teleport out of there anytime he wants because he has got like dark portal power. So it literally doesn't matter, but it's this kind of stuff that I love about this game. Is this kind of stuff where the dark and edgy, weird ass Kingdom Hearts anime bullshit just straight up gets interrupted by Disney logic. Anyway, from here it's all downhill. That's literally the best part of the game.
Yeah.
We go back to the gummy ship and sort of thinks, hey, we've done a few more Disney worlds. Maybe we'll go to the Realm of Darkness. Maybe we go find Aqua. Do an Aqua. Do a rescue. I don't don't want to goofy like? Not without the power of waking, you don't. Let's do some more Disney stuff. But before we can do some more Disney stuff, Ienzo calls us with an update, which I don't think I have a screenshot of. No, I don't. And telling us we found some of Evan's old research notes, and they're getting a little bit closer to maybe building a replica body for Roxas. He tells Sora that there's not just Roxas hanging out in his heart, though, as well. He's got a total of 3 hearts hanging about in there. One obviously being Roxas. The second one having been there for about the same amount of time as Roxas. And the third one has been inside Sora's heart for almost his entire life, which is obviously Ventus, which we just discussed. And the second one is Shion, which is also inside Sora's heart, but nobody knows who a Shion is because when she died, everybody forgot about it. So she's still in there. Yep. Nobody knows that she needs rescuing, is the issue. Sora wants to go to the Realm of Darkness. He's not allowed to, but we are. So we go to the Realm of Darkness in what I can only assume is a flashback scene, because Aqua has not yet fallen deep into darkness here, because she's talking to Ansem the Wise. Which I don't think I really put a lot of attention on that, but at the end of the Birth by Sleep secret ending, she walks up to this beach, to this guy in a coat. That is Ansem the Wise, who just got blasted here at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 when he blew up. He didn't die, he just got blasted here. Sure. And they talk a little bit, and then Aqua's like, okay, I think, like, I've been walking about this place, apparently for a decade, and I saw a mouse once, and then he abandoned me. So I'm just going to sit down right here and wait for somebody to come get me. Because surely, now that Mickey knows that I'm here, any day now they're going to come rescue me. Any day now.
Any day.
It'll be a matter of moments. And they'll come through a portal and they'll come rescue me. And Ansem Wise, yeah, sure they will. And a portal does open up. What do you know? But not the portal that they wanted it to be. It is Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, who is here not to come rescue Aqua. He even says, a lost guardian of light. You just stay put here and wait for the king and his idiot friends to come rescue you. I'm not here for you. That's not my problem. I'm here for Ansem the Wise. Because Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, Heartless, originally was Xehanort, which was Terranort. Ansem the Wise apprentice, right? He worked for Ansem the Wise in the lab at some point. And during those experiments, they were experimenting on a whole bunch of children. And just boatloads of children all died because they were experimenting with their hearts. At some point, though, Ansem the Wise put a stop to those experiments. He was just like, okay, no more. We've killed enough children. This is fucked up. And that's where Xehanort kept the experiments going, and that led eventually into the events of Kingdom Hearts 1. But apparently, there was one specific girl in there. And that girl, much like Xehanort at the time, didn't seem to have her memories anymore. She had lost her memories. And recently, as in Kingdom Hearts 2, we learned that Ansem the Wise, and it's really annoying that there's 2 Ansems talking to each other here, I'm very sorry about that. Ansem the Wise was able to reconstruct Sora's memories that he had lost. So, Seeker of Darkness thinks if you were able to do it for Sora, you might have been able to do it for that girl as well. And I would very much like to know what her memories were all about. Because she was the reason that you stopped those experiments. I'm not stupid. I put 2 and 2 together. You saw her memories. I need to know about those memories. So I'm going to grab you, and we're going to go find out what those memories were about. And Aqua's like, hey, I met this man like 10 minutes ago, and I'm going to defend him with my life, because I'm a good guy.
I was having a nice conversation. He's the only fucking one down here you're not going to take.
Exactly. If you take him, I'll be alone again. We're not doing that. He's staying here in hell with me. One little issue, though, is that Aqua, in the meantime, between the events of her like little spin-off game and this, has seemingly lost her Keyblade. So she's down here without a Keyblade now, and fighting Seeker of Darkness ends predictably. She gets tossed into the water, which is presumably this happens like 5 minutes before Riku and Mickey show up. So bad timing. She sinks deeper and deeper into the depths of darkness, getting covered in purple darkness goo, which is, as we know, bad stuff. You were saying something.
Well, I was thinking that if she was thrown in there 5 minutes before the others showed up, you would still see her splashing in the background. Then I remembered, oh wait, I'm thinking logically, and then this showed up and she's sinking into the goo.
For the most part, when you see water in Kingdom Hearts, you can just assume like water and darkness are kind of interchangeable here. It's she falls into the water, but that's more like symbolic for her falling deeper into the darkness. And when people are like falling into the darkness, like Riku at the start of the game, they're like clutching in their throat, and the sound is muffled like they're underwater. So I think it's safe to assume that what we're seeing here isn't actually water, but like just a gateway into deeper darkness, which is what happens here. All that said, though, Realm of Darkness stuff. Very interesting. Let's go back to do some Disney stuff, because Chip and Dale are calling Sora again, telling him that Merlin wants to talk to him about something important, and he's having a cup of tea in Twilight Town, so go meet him there.
You've got a phone.
Yeah, but it's important, because it's Winnie the Pooh shit. I don't think I've covered this in the previous games either. In Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, there were like minigame worlds for Winnie the Pooh.
No. I don't think you covered that. No.
Yeah, it's not important here. I just wanted to show it because it has a cute, like, unique shader effect in this world. It's like nice and cel-shaded.
Yay.
Looks kind of cool. Nothing matters here. It's like literally just two like Bejeweled type minigames, and then you're off back into Frozen, as we very predictably could have seen coming.
Oh, fuck yeah. Looking pretty good, though.
It looked really good, and there's even a couple of pre-rendered cutscenes in here, and I'll give you two guesses as to which scene is pre-rendered in here.
Does it have to do with growing a big-ass crystal ice castle?
It might.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, that whole thing for the movie did take a shitload of time to render, so, why not use it again here?
That's the funny thing. It's not the same export. It's not just like the same render, because they fix an animation error.
They fixed the hair through the arm?
They fixed the hair clipping through the arm in this version.
Goddamn.
I'm so glad you know about that, because I actually made a note about that in my notes. Anyway, Sora sees Elsa running away, running after her, because they're like, girl running around literally like on an ice lake away from civilization. I think she needs a friend. Let's go after her. And Sora is amazed that Elsa can control ice, despite Sora literally having ice magic.
Wait, what?
Elsa does like an icy blast against the Heartless, and Sora's like, that's amazing, you can control ice. But Sora's had ice magic spells since Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh, wait, yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know why Sora's impressed by this. Like, that's the first thing he sees Donald do ever. But Elsa does correct him, saying, no, I can't control ice. Ice just kind of happens around me.
I just have a very cold personality. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Just like Rapunzel, this is a princess movie, so we're doing beat by beat the plot of the movie, more or less. Because after Elsa runs away again, like, I don't want to hurt you, leave me alone, I'm gonna run the fuck off, because that's what
Let me go. Let it go.
Let it go, Sora. Let it go. Lorexine shows up. Another Chain of Memories character is back.
Yay.
And she's like, dude, you're really going to force yourself on her? You shouldn't force yourself on a woman. That's not cool. She just wants to be left alone. Just leave her alone. Which,
fair point.
I mean, fair points. I don't know why the villains in this game all make such good points. Sora is just kind of a weird guy in this game.
Yeah, he's kind of a creep.
Well, at least he's not Axel offering ice cream to Kairi.
Yeah.
Lorexine encloses us in an ice labyrinth for some reason, which the exit of that labyrinth is on the top of the mountain where Elsa is going, even though she said we were not supposed to go after Elsa, so...
No. Don't go over there. Here, I'll put you in the maze, pointing over there.
Yeah, exactly. Just as they come out of the maze, though, they see Elsa having her big moment, letting it go. And as I just said, they fucking fixed the hair clipping through the shoulder.
God
hell yeah. Had to probably re-render a lot for that.
Just one shot, right?
Yeah, true.
Do they even like use the movie stuff, or did they reanimate the whole thing in Unreal?
You know, that I'm not entirely sure on whether or not this is just a movie export or this is remade in Unreal. I feel like it's remade, probably still with like all the animation files just nicked from Disney, because there are a couple of shots in there where it cuts away from the usual like the usual song that you know, just like this one, right? And it just cuts to a pre-rendered cutscene of Sora in like the snowstorm, listening to the song. And it does that like 4 or 5 times or something like that. And I feel like at that point it would just be easier to re-render the entire thing in Unreal rather than rendering those scenes and then lining them up and then re-exporting that entire thing and then playing that back. It could go either way.
It shouldn't be that hard to take the character models, take the animation in whatever software they use. If you can export that and just throwing it into Unreal. Shouldn't be that hard.
Shouldn't be that hard. The only thing that makes me think that it's at least like partly the original Disney renders is these particles here seem pretty one-to-one with the one in the movie, and that's not something that you're likely going to be able to port over. Unless they were able to export that and like green screen that in at the right point, but at that point, is that even like... also...
Or maybe those particles are just animated things instead of simulations, then maybe.
Yeah, they could probably like bake that into an animation with like... Yeah, they probably could.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's, by the way, the fact that we're having this conversation is such a huge compliment to Unreal.
Yeah, no, definitely. The one thing that makes me think that at least like this shot specifically, like I've got 2 competing ideas about this, because this shot specifically looks a little softer, and that's not just my screenshot. Like in the game itself, this looks a little softer than most of the game does, which kind of seems like it's a video file and not a live render, and or just has better anti-aliasing because it's a pre-rendered thing rather than in engine. But then if we go and this is like real, if we go to this like hazy glowy effect that this shot has, and the final shot, which I don't have a screenshot of right now, of the number, but where like Elsa slams the door behind her because the cold never bothered her anyway. This seems a little bit more glowy and with a little bit more glare to it than the original, in my opinion. So that might indicate that this is rendered in Unreal. But it could very well be the case that the first part is the Disney render, and then halfway through they switch to something they rendered themselves, because, I mean, this specific scene is also where they fixed an animation error. So,
yeah, maybe.
I'm not entirely sure, but it's an interesting question. That's for sure. I'll tell you one thing for sure, though. If they rendered this in Unreal, even if, like, on cinematic quality and stuff like that, render's going real quick compared to what they probably rendered this in initially.
Oh, yeah.
Because even for cinematics, Unreal renders insanely fast. Anyway, all that out of the way, let's just let that go for the time being. We go up to the castle, trying to find Elsa. That's not what the screenshot shows. I'll get to that in a moment. And Lorexine shows up again. Like, I told you not to go follow Elsa. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Let it go.
Just let it go already, dude. She doesn't want you.
Please tell me they at least once tell Sora to let it go.
I don't think that they do.
God damn it.
That would have been funny, though. But Lorexine tells that they want to make sure whether or not Elsa has any darkness in her heart, because this like whole castle that she's built with ice magic seems like maybe it could be dark magic, and if that is the case, she's not a princess of hearts, and the organization, as we know, is looking for the new princesses of hearts. So Lorecine's like, just back off, let Elsa figure this out on her own, because if there's any time she's going to fall to darkness, it would be now. If she doesn't, she's probably pure. So she blows you off the mountain. This is a reoccurring theme in this world. You get blown off the mountain like 3 times and then have to find your way back up. I hate this world so much.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Oh, but it gets better, because we run into Anna and Kristoff and Olaf, the only good character here. And Anna gives you a recap of the movie so far, because as you've noticed, this is taking place during the movie, but we're barely interacting with the movie plot. So Anna is kind of doing that recap for us. Except that she's doing this recap over the scene of You Want to Build a Snowman, that song.
Mm-hmm.
But the song isn't made any quieter. So we've got Anna as a child singing in the scene, and then a voiceover of adult Anna at the same volume explaining what is happening in the scene that we're watching.
Someone forgot to do some sound mixing.
Yeah, there's no sound balancing in here at all, and this is not the only time that this happens. I don't know, the sound guys just like took a day off at some points and they just forgot to mix a couple of scenes. I don't know why. Then you fight some Heartless. Olaf runs off. He loses all of the pieces of his body, so you have to go find the pieces of his body. This is not lore relevant. Again, I just want to make sure to be able to show this, because there's a bunch of like snowballs around that you can gather, and you have to get the right ones, meaning that you're probably going to have to do this like 2 or 3 times before you get the right combination. One of the combination results in what we know as Swolof.
I don't want to fat shame anyone, but damn.
This is, I like the fact that Donald's just standing next to him like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
Works well for perspective.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the only reason that I mentioned that. So we go all the way up the mountain again. Anna goes to talk to Elsa, just like the movie plot happens. But as the gang waits outside, the moment Anna is hit in her heart with the ice blast, we got out to Sora, who also feels that, because he's just so empathetic. Just such an empath. Which that is actually like somewhat relevant for like character reasons a little bit down the line. But
he just feels all the things.
He just feels things that other people feel, and because Anna just happened to get hit in the heart in the movie, they can use that as a connection because hearts.
Hearts, lore, blah, blah.
Exactly. At some point we fight the Marshmallow, the big-ass snowman that Elsa makes.
Oh, nice.
And then he becomes a party member, which is real cool because he absolutely destroys any Heartless that you come across. The rest of the movie plays out. Hans turns into a giant wolf Heartless.
Oh my god.
Which is the second most bullshit fight in this game from the Disney worlds. He's really difficult as well. Hans doesn't even have any dialogue lines in this world. He just shows up, kidnaps Elsa because that's what he does in the movie, and then turns into this.
But he doesn't die. How the fuck does he turn into a Heartless?
Because Anna blocks his sword attack with her ice hand, and that knocks him back, and apparently that makes him so angry he turns into this.
He hit his head and turned into a giant, as you do.
Yeah. I should point out, you don't have to die to become a Heartless. You have to be consumed by darkness.
Yeah, alright.
We've just been calling it dying because that's easier than saying consumed by darkness every single time. Anyway, we beat his ass and now he's actually dead. So, I don't know what Frozen 2 would look like in this case. I suppose Hans doesn't really have impact in that movie.
Not really.
Laroxine shows up, informing us that, hey, both of these girls are both princesses in one world. Who could have guessed? And tell Sora to hurry the fuck up, because we're getting close to getting all these 7 Princesses of Light lined up. We're still looking for a couple of them, but we've got most of them. And we've got our 13. So you better get your Keyblade wielders ready, because otherwise you're just going to lose anyway. Because
also, Goofy has the worst fighting style ever.
Goofy like, come and get it, bitch.
Come at me, bruh.
I don't know if I really make this clear, by the way, but we've got this whole like setup of the 13 darknesses versus the 7 lights to make the key guy XP. And we've just been working toward like getting these 7 Keyblade wielders together to be the Guardians of Light to have that battle happen. But the reason that we need to do that anyway is because if we don't do that, they can use the Light Princesses as well to make the Keyblade. Because those are just 7 lights as well.
Right.
So that's why they're looking for these princesses. I feel like you probably put that together on your own, kind of, but it's good to just mention out loud at this point as well. Because now, the organization has a clear path to victory, and the good guys are going to need to scramble to even get close to the amount of people that they need. So, they all regroup at the tower with Yen Sid, and you'll note that I don't have a screenshot of this, because this game is just literally restating everything that happened in the past few worlds every so often, because this game is such a goddamn mess that it needs to recap its own story periodically for anything to make sense.
Also, this game is fucking long, so
yeah,
you might have forgot some things.
Exactly. But we're ramping up toward the end right now. We're at point 140 and I've got 170 points in total, so we're getting there. There's only a few important notes left. All the Disney stuff, while taking the notes, I kind of sped through them, and we're going to speed through them even more right now because I'm just not interested in the Disney stuff at the moment.
And this is getting quite long.
Yeah, so we'll make a little bit of haste here.
Let's go.
Meanwhile, back at the organization's rock pillars, this is a better shot of them. They are just pillars of rock.
Yeah.
Loroxine and Malusha are talking, and they're like, hey, we're back in the organization, back together. Last time we did this, we tried to stage a coup, and at the moment, things are so fucking boring. Hey, Malusha, maybe you want to do another coup again? That sounds fun. To which...
Do you want to build a coup?
No, we're done with that world.
All right. Sorry.
Demix shows up. You might not remember Demix. You're going to want to remember Demix going forward.
Also, is his keyblade just a bass guitar?
Yeah. He's just got a guitar for a weapon. He has a pretty interesting boss fight in Kingdom Hearts 2, where he like summons all kinds of like water minion enemies, and then he keeps saying "Dance, water, dance," and then you have to dance with the water forms. His entire personality is like laid back, lazy, and cowardice. But he's back in the organization.
Yeah.
And he buds in saying, hey, that whole coup ID, that sounds like a terrible fucking plan. Maybe don't do that. The thing is, Demix is here as a backup. He's not even part of the plan. He's just there as a backup in case they can't get the replicas to work. Because they are working on the replicas at this point. But they're not quite finished yet. So what Sora just told, what Loroxine just told to Sora, that they have their 13, not quite accurate. But then Xemnas shows
A
up.
big old bluff. Just a big old bluff.
Well, yeah, she didn't know it. She thought they did. But then she teleported into this meeting and she got told, hey, that's not true. So, but Xemnas is a good leader. And he says, you know what? You didn't actually fuck up that badly because now the Guardians of Light are going to panic. And if they panic, they make mistakes. And that's going to assure our victory. So, it's alright. It's fine. He's also here to spout some exposition. Because that's what we do when we're standing on top of rocks. He goes on to explain that the organization's 13 members, the original organization, all the nobodies, were all chosen for specific reasons. The first 6 members were apprentices under Ansem the Wise. So that is Xehanort, Zigbar, Zaldin, Lexius. It doesn't matter. Numbers 7 and 8 joined shortly after. Those are Isa and Lee, Syx and Axel. Of course, number 13 was Roxas. They needed a Keyblade wielder. But that leaves number 9, 10, 11, and 12. Why were they chosen to be part of the organization? Well, Xemnas reveals, and by the way, 9 through 12 are the people that are present here. So that is Loroxine, Malusha, Demix, and Luxord, who also shows up at some point.
Right.
He reveals that they have been chosen because these 4 characters have an ancient Keyblade legacy that will in time reveal itself.
They're the grandchildren of some important motherfucker.
I will tell you, there's 4 characters here. I know the ancient Keyblade legacy of 2 of them. Huh. The other 2, I have no idea. I feel pretty confident in saying that we might see the other 2 in the upcoming mobile game, because that's still taking place quite far in the past, so that still would be considered somewhat ancient, I suppose. But if we don't, that opens up the door for a very fun theory surrounding Demix specifically. And that's why I said you're going to need to remember him. There's theories floating around about this guy at the moment and what his ancient Keyblade legacy is. And he's one of the ones that we don't know yet. And we'll get to theories after we finish 3.
Alright.
Just remember this.
Bass guitar dude. Got it.
Yeah. This is Luxord, by the way, just throwing in a picture of him as well. He's also relevant somehow, don't know.
He just looks like angry Linus.
I mean, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, kinda, yeah. Well, that makes him a lot less threatening, doesn't it? Well, to be fair, he wasn't very threatening to begin with, because his weapon is playing cards. He's just got a deck of cards, which he uses as a weapon. So
he's just a failed magician.
Yeah. But he's been on box duty this entire game, because he's been looking for the same box that Peter and Maleficent are looking for.
Oh, fun.
On Zigbar's orders, for some reason. You know, I think we should do some pirating.
Which kind of pirating? Of the Caribbean or some other?
We're back in the Caribbean, because we need to do some pirate stuff. And this time, the Uncanny Valley is gone, for the most part.
Well.
I mean, this is as good as you're going to get on a PS4 for Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah, sure, but that makes it
more
maybe
uncanny?
more.
I don't know.
Uncanny
I
Valley?
think this is less uncanny valley than the Kingdom Hearts 2 one. Like, by quite a bit.
Yeah.
That said, though, that doesn't make up for the very jarring fact that Donald and Goofy are still here. And Sora is very still an anime boy.
Yep.
So that's still very jarring. Specifically because...
He does seem to have somewhat more definition in his skin.
Yeah, specifically Donald, I can really tell. Like, Donald's gotten a lot more detail with this.
Yeah, but also Sora has quite a bit more definition in his face. His eyes are still way out of whack.
Yeah, his proportions are kind of fucked. But he... honestly, that's just kind of like the dirt that's smeared all over his face to make him look like a pirate, for the most part. But in general, like, his whole costume as well is not his Kingdom Hearts outfit, meaning that he fits in a lot better. If you ignore the fact that his proportions are like way out of whack still, and that he's literally standing in front of a human-sized dog and a half-human-sized duck, which this image of Donald is kind of giving me vibes from like the Sonic movie, kind of those kind of vibes.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Like, he fits in just well enough for it to kind of work, but it's still a little jarring. They help Jack look for the box with Davy Jones's heart in it, because we need a box to chase. When Donald, Sora, and Goofy hear about Jack looking for a box, they freak the fuck out, because Maleficent's been looking for a box this entire time, so that can't be a good thing. But there's a box in this world, so Luxord and Vexen show up as well, because Luxord is on box duty, as we just covered. And Vexen has heard that in this specific world, this box contains a heart, Davy Jones's heart. Meaning that Davy Jones somehow is able to live without his heart. And that intrigues Vexen, because even his best replicas are not able to exist without a heart.
Fair enough.
We can really skip over this world. It's very fun, there's a lot of pirate shit. Luxord tried to invoke the right of parley in every chance he gets. This guy loves being a pirate, and so does Sora. But we get to see by the end of this world, because this is literally, I think, the third Pirates movie. I don't know the pirate movies that well.
At this point, we had quite a bit more, right?
Yeah, but this is specifically, it's the one about Davy Jones.
Well, yeah, we do need the box.
It's about Davy Jones with his heart in a box. Like, that is actually the plot of the movie. But you might be thinking, yeah, but Davy Jones's heart in that box in that movie is not like a glowing orb of light and darkness. It's like his heart.
It's a kind of heart.
And no, it still is in this. I don't know. I fucking love this screenshot. This is not from the movie.
Oh my!
This is from the game. Once again, so that's the entirety of the Pirates world here. Again, it's a very fun world. It's basically Assassin's Creed 4, but with more magic.
Yeah.
So it's fun. Moving on, we have Kairi and Lee are hanging out again. Kairi's wearing her new clothes, which I don't have a screenshot of, which is a shame because it's a really cute outfit. She's got like a hood as well, but with like 2 little cat ears on it, and it fits her very well. Her outfit has more personality than she does, admittedly, but hey.
Well, that's not that.
Exactly. Kairi tells Lee that they are finally finished with their training and they're very happy, and she hopes that they can get Roxas out of Sora's heart. And if they can do that, maybe they can get Naminé out of Kairi as well. Because she figured that at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, when Roxas returned into Sora's heart and Naminé into Kairi's heart, that all was well. That was where things were supposed to be. Everybody was back where they belonged. But the more they think about it, the more she thinks, actually, that's kind of fucked up, because Naminé was her own person there for a hot minute, just separate from me, and then I absorbed her back into myself.
With even more personality and stuff. So
yeah, and what gives me the right to deny Naminé an existence of her own? Like, that's actually quite fucked up. We need to get her back out of there, which renders like a huge portion of the climax of Kingdom Hearts 2 kind of worthless.
Detail.
That's a game that we've done, and now this is the game we're doing now, so this is what is important now. Axel, however, I'm calling him Axel and Lee interchangeably. You better get used to that, because I can never decide what to call him. Tells Kairi about Ventus, because way back in the day, during Birth by Sleep, when Axel was still Lee, they met, Ventus and him, and Axel says that then in the organization, when he met Roxas, Axel was very surprised to see somebody that looked exactly like Ventus. Of course, I didn't tell Roxas that. I wouldn't want to worry him, he says, just to preserve continuity as to why that was never brought up before. Back in the Realm of Darkness, oh my god, this is the first screenshot I have of Riku's new Keyblade. This is Riku's new Keyblade. It's a car key.
It actually looks like a goddamn key.
It's a car key. Do you understand now why the keys look like those type of keys and not this modern type of key? Because this just looks like a sword.
With dimples. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I kind of like it. It's kind of goofy, but I kind of like it.
That's pretty cool.
That's not the point, though. Riku and Mickey are once again down here fighting the demon side, but Riku gets thrown aside as the Heartless drag Mickey away, making Mickey drop his new Keyblade, which is just the Keyblade he had before, but with a new texture on it.
Yeah.
Well, I think these two little extrusions here are also new. It's definitely less of an upgrade than Riku's car key. I'll tell you that one. And that's all we get to see in the Realm of Darkness again. It's literally one cutscene of Mickey getting fucking murdered.
Nice.
In Twilight Town, we've got the Ansem duo again, because that's never confusing. I'm just going to call them Ansem the Wise and Seeker of Darkness. I think that'll help things if I don't refer to this dude as Ansem as well.
Yeah.
Ansem the Wise is being taken to his computer by Seeker of Darkness to show the data on the missing girl. But Ansem the Wise explained that, dude, I victimized enough people. All those children that we experimented on and ripped their hearts out, Roxas and Nominee, the way I pretty much abused them because I thought they weren't real people. I don't want to make any more victims. And that after that girl disappeared, because she didn't die or anything. Unlike everybody else that they experimented on, who died or turned into Heartless or whatever, this girl just one day disappeared. And that made him worried about what he was doing, and that's why he wanted to stop the research. But Xehanort kept it going, as we know.
All the people dying was fine.
Disappearing, we can't be having that.
Then one day, one of them disappeared, and I was like, what the fuck am I actually doing?
I mean, any reasonable person would assume everybody dying, this person just escaped and ran away.
Yeah.
But no. She disappeared. She just went away. And that made him suddenly feel real bad about all the other people he did kill. While they're talking about that, though, Hainer, Pence, and Olette are also here, spying in on this conversation. Rude. And they're going in to help Ansem the Wise. But, of course, these are just 3 high school kids against a near god being of darkness. So, I don't know what they think they're going to do. But that doesn't... Well, one of these two distracts them, and then I think Pence here distracts them. Olette tries to get away with Ansem the Wise, and Hainer just tries to fucking karate kick Ansem in the face. Seeker of Darkness, that is, not the Wise.
Bold move.
Which doesn't go well for him, because Darkness demigod. So they have to be rescued by a bunch of Dusks, but those are usually enemies, right?
Yeah.
So why are they helping the good guys now? You might be wondering. They run away and regroup. Oh, spoiler. They run away and regroup in the sewers under Twilight Town, where they are approached by Vexen. Vexen sent those nobodies to go help them, because Vexen, much like Ansem the Wise, feels bad about sacrificing all those children back in the day, and he wants to atone for his misdeeds by helping to return Roxas and Nominee to this world. So, he isn't a creepy, evil guy. He just went to the organization as a double agent, so he could get some replicas for the good guys. Which is, sure,
Yay.
Why not? We're almost done. Because it's time for the final Disney World. Do you want to guess, actually? Just calm down, take a step back. What do you think is the final Disney World?
I think Frozen, Tango, Hercules. Probably not going to do Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph is a world in a different game.
Alright.
Even though it is about video games, yes. Again, things get meta going forward. It's San Francisco.
Oh shit, yeah.
Big Hero 6.
About that one. Yeah.
So we do get a little bit of Marvel in Kingdom Hearts already.
Yeah, kind of.
Kinda. Not really. Like, not MCU Marvel, but technically this is an adaptation of a Marvel comic.
Well, now that the MCU is multiversing, it probably is.
Oh my god, that means that Kingdom Hearts could be canonical to the MCU as well.
Oh.
Not just one way around. Oh my god.
I mean, the MCU is multiversing. Every fucking thing could be canonical at this point.
Yeah, true, but I just feel bad for Loki to have to deal with Sora's bullshit.
He's just one of the branches he's holding. He's like,
can I just let go of this one, please?
The fuck is this guy doing? He's one guy with like a fuck ton of other people. Oh, this is weird. Fuck off.
We want people to come back to life in comic stuff, not in anime stuff. We just want an AI Tony Stark. We don't want Heartless and Darkness and whatever. That's a different...
I'm a literal god, but this is getting weird.
We can get into Loki some other time. Maybe if we finally get like an Avengers world in Kingdom Hearts 4, which I'm pretty confident that we will, we can get more into that. By that time we'll be on like phase 25 of the MCU. So Sora in this world just kind of helps out the superhero team by kicking some ass and letting them watch. So they have better ideas as to how to be good superheroes. Because this takes place after the events of the movie.
Because Sora is such a good superhero. He's such a role model.
Well, he's good at fighting.
I guess.
So they kind of do that. And he like runs up a wall and that gives like the girl with like the wheels on her feet the idea of, hey, maybe I can make magnetic wheels so that I can glide up walls that way. And there's some other inspirations with like projectile weapons and stuff like that and whatever. It's after they do their like little training montage, they do what Kingdom Hearts characters do, and they climb up to the most dangerous place they can find to have some ice cream, literally on top of the bridge.
The bridge, yeah.
Which is just a bad idea.
Yeah.
Also, probably highly illegal.
That yes. At least it's not sea salt ice cream.
Well, I'm about to get to that. Because you're one bullet point ahead of me. Because I literally wrote down, it's the wrong color though. This is chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
But Sora having a ice cream bar with his friends on top of a high building, of course, makes a little Roxas flashback come out. And of course, there it is, sea salt ice cream in the background.
Yeah.
And Sora zones out for a moment, and then Hiro is like, Sora, I'm talking to you. And so like, oh, what the fuck? I was doing a Roxas. And that's pretty much... Oh no, that's not pretty much it, fine. Because as they go back home at night, they run into a swarm of microbots. And Hiro's like, microbots? What the fuck? Those were all sucked into the quantum realm, whatever that was at the end of their movie. It's pretty much a quantum realm, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So they fight the microbots, because they're superheroes. That's what they do. But they do wonder who's controlling these microbots, because somebody needs to control them. They don't have a mind of their own. So we chase them, we fight them a bit, we chase them, we fight them a bit, and we figure out that it is Riku, but young Riku, time travel Riku.
Wait.
With darkness eyes, by the way, I should point out. Oh, we lost 10 points.
Confused? That's what we're...
Yeah. I've been kind of speeding through these a little bit more, meaning that I'm not reading off the bullet points as directly. But we're at the last like 6 points now. I don't know how well you remember Big Hero 6.
Kind of.
But at the end of that movie, they leave Baymax in the quantum realm. And in this world, we still have Baymax, but that's the Baymax that Hero makes at the very end of the movie, the remade, version 2.
Yeah.
But Riku has the evil fighty program chip from first Baymax, which makes everybody think, okay, you've got the microbots, which were in the quantum realm. You've got the evil fighty program chip, which was inside Baymax in the quantum realm. Where is first Baymax? And Riku's like, I don't care about that body. Come on. What I care about is the data on this chip. Because this thing is effectively Baymax's heart. But it's just data. So, can we reconstruct a heart from just data? Because that would be kind of cool if we could. And Sora perks up like, hey, that's my fucking ID. Back off. I want to do that with Roxas. You don't get to do that. And Riku explains that, well, this chip by itself isn't really doing the trick. What this heart needs that we're trying to construct here from data is experiences. So I've had these microbots fight you along the way. to gain some more experience and see aggression and hate and whatever, to start developing darkness to make the beginnings of a heart. And Sora's like, that's not how hearts work. Hearts are light and good and stuff, and anything can have a heart if you believe in it hard enough. And Riku's like, sure, if you say so. I'm gonna do some more research. I'll see you tomorrow when we have some more battles and I complete this heart. Portal Zoe. Also, Pete and Maleficent are here because they need to be every couple of Disney Worlds. They just need to show up like, hey, we're here. Remember? Yeah, okay.
You're looking for the box?
We're looking for the box. Is there a box in this world? No. Maybe it's in the quantum realm? No. Okay. But Riku actually goes to talk to them like, hey, I'm doing like my darkness shit here. We can only have one darkness person per world. Can you please go fuck off and go somewhere else? Because I've got this covered. And Maleficent and Pete are kind of pretty polite, actually. And they're like, oh yeah, there doesn't seem to be a box here. If we're bothering him, we might as well go away.
Okay, bye.
But Pete asks Maleficent, who the fuck was that? To which he asks, was that like an old friend of yours or something? Because Pete wasn't around in Kingdom Hearts 1 when Riku was on their side. So he has no idea who the fuck Riku is. And Maleficent answers that with a very cryptic, yes, but I couldn't tell you from when. Timey-wimey time travel stuff. I mean, it's a younger Riku. Obviously, it's a time travel Riku. We also fight Edgelord Baymax, because original Baymax is back, but with darkness in his heart now. And Riku's, or rather Sora's like, you can't just make a darkness heart like that. And Riku retorts, last night you said anything you believe hard enough in can have a heart, and I'm believing real fucking hard right now that Baymax is a darkness boy, so
check this shit.
Check this. We've got an Edgelord Baymax now. With spikes. So you fight him in an aerial battle on top of current Baymax against this Baymax, and that's a very bad fight because the controls are really bad. But after you beat him, there are now 2 Baymaxes! Yay. And very bad anti-aliasing.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's everything to do with the Disney Worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3. This was 70% of the game. At least 70% of the cutscene. The last 30% will be its own video that we'll do next month. Because those 3 hours are fucking dense. And both of our brains are really fried right now.
Yep.
Imagine if the actual plot started happening now. That would be bad. We've got a lot of lead up, a lot of like character reintroductions, and I think that in general is a good idea to like know what you need to keep in mind going into to the actual ending here.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah.
We don't really have anything else to end on, like no questions, ideas, thoughts, because we're pretty much like there's nothing that really, unless you've got anything specifically to say.
Not really. I mean, a lot of things happened, but not really that much important.
I did rush through this a lot as well.
I do have questions, but I'm guessing either those questions are going to be answered in the next episode or in some other game.
Or maybe not.
I want to fucking know what's in the box, but
well, yeah,
I guess we'll get to that.
Me too. I guess I never specified, but they are looking for the same box from from the movie that we did, that Lucio is hiding.
Right.
I feel like I don't need to like mention that, but for the like 2 people who might be using these videos to follow up on the Kingdom Hearts lore, which, man, I feel sorry for you if you're using these videos for that.
Yeah.
It is the box that Lucio was tasked with just getting away from Daybreak Town, and that is Maleficent thinks that it contains a book of prophecies.
That would make sense.
But I feel like if it actually contained a book of prophecies, we would just know by now. The fact that they made a mystery out of it, and haven't like explicitly talked about any of that yet, aside from Maleficent assuming things, makes me think it has to be something more impressive than that.
Or less. That would also be fun. Just having a note in there, had something like, had fun looking for this.
I mean, that would be very Master of Masters, to be honest, doing something like that. That's fair. But that's kind of like the same way that at this point, we're like 5 years away from the introduction of the Master of Masters. We've known him for a while. He's shown up in a couple of games by now, and we still haven't seen his face. I've made this clear like 50 times. Which leaves the question, who is he? Because at this point, you can't go 5 years not revealing a guy's face, and in some games actually making a point out of his like, when he says his name, I'll just spoil that for you right now. In a cutscene in a later game, we see a character ask him, "Hey, what's your name?" And he answers, but it's just blanked out for purposes of the player not being able to read it.
That's just lazy.
You don't do that unless it's a pre-existing character. But there's a lot,
I guess.
because if it's just like, "My name is Tom," okay, good for you. It has to be something to do with a pre-existing character.
Maybe. We have a bunch of Xehanorts. Maybe it's a Kang situation. It's just the Xehanort that remains.
I think I think there's some parallels to be had there. In what we talked about last time, they act very similarly, like very nihilistically. I've seen everything that happens that can ever happen. I know the entire history of the universe. So I'm a goofy, silly guy. I'm pretty confident in saying that it's not Xehanort because it's been explicitly stated that after Kingdom Hearts 3, that's like the Xehanort saga done. Xehanort as an antagonist is dealt with. There are some implications that Xehanort as a character might still pop up in the future, but not as like a main focus. But still, it could be, if we're doing like multiversal stuff, which very well could be, there could be something to that. I think a different character would make more sense in that regard. At the moment, it seems like the fanbase theories have two options for who it could be. And I'm not going to tell you who.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll get to that.
We'll get to that, but that's kind of the same thing, right? You can't just throw something like that into a player's face and then not elaborate any further for 5 years and expect it to be something not climactic when it is revealed, because that's just not how storytelling works. So both the Master of Masters identity and what the fuck is in the box need to be something relevant, important, and climactic. But I can't tell you either of those things, not because I don't want to. And like during this entire series, I've lied to you plenty of times. Don't get me wrong. This is not one of those instances. I legitimately don't know. We'll get to that next time. For now, thanks for watching. Thank you for not killing me yet. And I better get started writing the next script because it's gonna be a wild one.
Yeah. All right. See you then.